Fjord. As darkness takes your mind, dreamless like most, you await the emptiness of sleep to carry you to the day. Your sense of body fades, but your mind and the dark linger. Minutes, hours, days, time loses real sense and meaning. But you're conscious for it, and that is almost maddening in that split-second or endless stretch of experience that you're currently unable to express. And as the time passes, the air grows colder around you. The faint shimmer of shifting midnight blue, muted and distant, now showing endless depth before you, rippling. You begin to flail about, your senses returning with the dropping temperature, but there is resistance to your limbs as you push in the space around you. You're sluggish. There's force. It's not air. It's water. You suddenly feel the burning pain in your lungs as your breath fights to escape you, but you hold tight. You seize and swim in desperation, choosing any direction, but the shimmering blue is directionless. There is no up, there is no down. It's just depth. Movement. The universal shadows dance as one, right to left. With a speed that pulls you along with the current, you feel yourself being jostled as it shifts again to the left to right, around behind you. You find yourself toppling head over end, eventually coming to rest again. You spiral over and over again, the darkness swallowing you, tightening around you as this kind of dance, this shape, this endless coil, this spiral around you. As the current tugs at you, battering you, you cannot fight anymore as the increased power of the current pulls on your form. You cough, and the freezing waters rush into your body, the briny taste of salt water stinging your insides. Your wincing eyes open, with the pain that clutches the interior of your chest, only to see a gargantuan mass moving through the water around you, like a massive noose closing in. The pain in your chest vanishes as your breathing normalizes. Thicker than air, but breathable all the same. It feels strange, yet weirdly familiar. In that moment, yellow light bursts before you in the shape of an enormous yellow eye. An impossibly low tone rumbles through the waters around you, shaking you to the core like an organic war horn the size of a canyon. The eye narrows as the tone grows stronger. A thought enters your mind, a jumble of emotions that your brain attempts to make sense of until a word congeals into the center of your consciousness. Watching. The eye just looks at you. Waiting. Expectantly.
What are you?
Watching.
Watching me?
The eye kind of opens a bit and leans closer towards you. Potential.
My potential? What are you asking of me?
Learn.
Learn? Would you have me learn?
Learn. Grow. Provoke. Consume.
Learn, grow, provoke, consume. I don't understand. Reward. A reward for this. I'm listening.
Patience. The eye closes, and the light is gone. You feel the darkness and the cold completely suffuse your entire world as the panic and solitude, the true quiet of your unconsciousness begins to take hold. At that moment, you gasp for breath and your eyes open, coughing and sputtering in the morning air. As the rest of you have already kind of come to consciousness in the morning air, kind of begun to situate your belongings and put out the embers of the fire that lasted throughout the night. Your morning belches getting out. Fjord has kind of slept in and has been ever so still in his sleep. Suddenly, without warning, he suddenly shoots up from his sleep, his eyes wide, and as he opens his mouth, begins coughing and spitting water up.
Oh. Oh no, he's injured.
Fjord!
Heal him!
Have I ever seen this happen to him before?
Can you speak?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Yeah, you look it.
I'm fine.
You just spit a lot of water out and you were sleeping. Was it fine?
Yeah, no,
Was that a get it out, big guy?
It was like a sizable glass filled with water.
I'm gonna do something very weird. I'm going to walk over and dampen my hand on the water on his chest really quickly, and
Okay. It's
Ew, it's probably...
it's briny and salty.
Why are you drinking salt water?
You don't know that.
Oh. Why are you drinking salt water?
Jeez, Fjord, that's a lot of drool.
Yeah,
Does it taste like stomach acid? Because that's gross, man.
yeah, no, I think it was
Only one way to find out.
reflux.
Reflux. Oh, you're gonna know his hand?
Like a mama bird. Just everybody have some of what I puked up. It's
I
all
don't,
good.
but I want to make an insight check.
That's
He's talking
weird,
about
isn't it?
acid reflux
That's
and just spit
weird.
a bunch of water out.
Yeah, make it a check.
I don't think it was acid reflux.
You taste like a semen.
So,
That's not normal.
What happened, Fjord?
Sorry, I had
Shits to me.
seems like he's covering some confusion or at least trying to deflect.
had a dream. I'm sorry. A vivid one. It just kind of shook me to my core a little bit. That's all. I'll be fine. Really, it's not a common thing.
Why the water, though?
I don't know.
You never told me where you got that sword. Just because, you know, I saw it get a little soggy, a little drippy when we were fighting the frog thing, so you know.
As you glance down at your sheath on the ground, it is empty.
What?
There is no falchion.
Yeah. That sword is, it's a pickle.
It's a pickled sword. Are there benefits to pickling your weapons?
It's a mystery.
Oh, right.
He's not wrong though. It actually is a pickle. You can taste it.
Yeah, it's very salty. Yeah.
I do like pickles.
Are you all right, Fjord?
Yeah, I feel funny. Caleb, you remember me asking you about your arcane prowess?
Yeah.
My small experience with the arcane came to me around the same time that sword did.
And how long ago was that?
Not too long ago. Very recent. Right before I met up with Jester.
Were you in the ocean?
Yeah, I was. Did a lot of merchant sailing previously. And I had one trip that didn't go so well. Suffice it to say, after it was done, I found that sword.
What happened on the trip? Rough waters?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did anyone die?
Yeah, I'm not real comfortable talking about it, but
What about this sword? You said you found it on the ocean. You found it in the boat you're on? You're on an island? What do you mean?
I found it on the shore. When I got back to land, it was just there, and I'm not super familiar with a ton of weaponry. So the sword, I know, I had some training in it, but this seemed like a unique sword. I felt like it almost called to me. I know how that sounds, but when I picked it up, it seemed like everything changed. And ever since, I've been able to do more things, been able to reach out with some of the stuff I've seen you do. And that's why I'm trying to make it up to the academy. I'm trying to figure out what it is that I have.
DM, when I cast Detect Magic in the first game in the tavern, did that sword light up?
No.
I don't mean to alarm any of you, really. I'm trying to be as forthright as I can.
Where is the sword right now?
Can I make it appear?
Well, you look down and it's not in the sheath. You glance around, it's nowhere near you. And if you
Focus. Reach down.
He looks down at his open palm, and there is a flash of greenish blue teal energy out of his grip. And there, clutched within his grasp, you see the falchion coated in the remnants of sea floor life. You see the barnacles encrusted around the edge and up the back of the blade. You see as it begins to just drip water of the same kind that was coughed up by Fjord this morning.
You can see why I'm a little curious about this item.
That's a great trick.
Chris?
Of course.
If you wouldn't mind, that would be most kind of you.
Then, very well, it will be done. Give me just a moment. What is your name?
Fjord.
There's a J in
Make
it.
sure he spells it
There's a
right.
J.
Ford.
Yeah, Fjord. Fjord.
Have you a surname?
No.
Tough.
As the sleep takes you, and the darkness of your dream state alleviates you of the stress of the day, your aching muscles turning numb, your physical form and consciousness now removed and aimless in this dark space. You look down at your hand, and there you see clasped in your grip the somewhat hooked and curved blade that you had recently bound with. In your grasp, you swing it and slowly inspect it as you do. As you swirl the blade around in your hand, it almost has a trail around it. And as you hold it coldly in your grasp, this yellow light suddenly emerges in front of you as a familiar, large, yellow eye now looks upon you. And a voice fills you, directionless. Consume. And you glance at the blade and back at the eye, and the voice again says, Consume. What do you do?
Consume. Oh god, am I gonna try and swallow the sword?
What do you do for it?
It's a large blade, right?
It's about like this wide in places. It comes out and kind of arcs and curves, and it's got kind of jagged edges on it.
I don't know what you mean, consume. Fuck it. I'll turn the blade over and, like, keeping my eyes on the big eye, I'll bring it up to my mouth and open it.
It's cold to the touch of your tongue, the blade completely absent of any temperature. As you begin to force it down your gullet, you feel the edge of the blade hit the back of your throat, and the moment of pain hits you as it begins to cut through your flesh. But at that point, this kind of ravenous hunger begins to build on the inside of your stomach, and though the pain tells you to pull away, you continue to just force the blade down. As you pull it down from the hilt, you feel the blood kind of burble up in the back of your throat and spill out of your chin, but you continue to push it until the entirety of the blade is consumed within your throat. You close your eyes for a moment and look up at the eye once more, and the voice returns to feel reverberating around you. The pain subsides, and it says, "Good." The eye closes. The lid, completely cutting off the source. The cold, the liquid, the water around you, the sense of being under the ocean again begins to whisk you away. Some sort of heavy current begins to pull you from behind, and you reach out, trying to grasp for any sort of hand or foothold, but yet you have nothing to hold on to. And as you feel yourself being dragged into this endless abyss, the dream comes to an end. You wake up. Everyone else is kind of asleep in the area. No one seems to have been woken up from your presence.
Anything on my hands?
Nothing in your hands, no.
No, wipe my mouth.
Wipe your mouth. There's a little bit of blood right there across your hand.
Can I try and summon the sword?
You do, and as you summon it, there before you is not the Waste Hunter blade, but the falchion, now returned to grasp, but with a strange, more hooked and jagged appearance to it. It seems that the essence of this pact has consumed the weapon you had bound with and made it one with the falchion that you made this pact with oath so long ago.
I try and keep my... Make it disappear again. Has anybody woken up, or any eyes open at all?
At the moment, no.
I'll lay back down and go to sleep.
Is this the end of our task here?
And
Fjord.
we're supposed to secure the safe house.
As they're having this conversation,
Entire safe house.
you kind of feel this strange crawling sensation in the back of your head as you're looking past this pool down into the darkness below. Kind of, even though it's clear, you can see the ripples, and there's something kind of gently tugging you that direction, and a familiar voice kind of creeps in, sourceless within your brain, that says, Fjord, you're swimming down, going through the darkness, keeping your way there. It goes under for about 30 feet, 40 feet. You're kind of pulling your way across the ceiling as it levels out. Kind of curves a bit, straightens. Your lungs start to hurt a little bit, but you're still holding your breath okay. Kind of pulling your way through this darkness.
This makes me feel so uncomfortable.
I'm not okay with this.
This is just college all over.
You pull under, and you're uncertain as to where it'll end, and there's just that brief little peeking fear in the back of your mind, flashes of memories of being under the ocean, of the shipwreck, of looking up and not knowing which direction was up. And that kind of gives you this brief surge of vertigo. And you kind of stop for a second, and a couple bubbles of escape. Go make a Constitution saving throw.
$21.
21. But you push through, continue, swim across, swim. You come up, and all of a sudden you can see now it begins to rise up once more. And you begin to swim up, pull across the front, and then suddenly your fingers break water. But you do so carefully.
Trying to bring about this really weird god. Can I reach in and try to get it out?
Sure. So you reach in, and you scour around, and your hand touches and finds the symbol. Next to it, there's like a looks to be a polished stone about that big that's like resting in the silt at the bottom.
I reach in and grab that instead.
Okay. You pull out the stone, and as soon as the water emerges from it, it's smooth. It looks like cat's eye, It has kind of a yellowish color to it, and there's striations that kind of refract light around it. And in one end, it looks like there was some sort of an axe or some sort of an impact kind of carved a line about 3 inches across on one side.
Clearly, that's what's glowing at the bottom. To my
It has a
eyes.
very, very faint yellowish glow
What
to
kind
it.
of magic, school of magic is it?
It's not a school of arcane magic.
What is this? I still grab the other that little symbol.
Okay, the symbol there.
I don't know. I think
want
you
to
should
look
put
at
it.
it?
But yeah, let's put it down with that sword that we found.
Does the groove in it look like it matches the size of the blade of the sword?
And she sets it down and it kind of rests it there next to the other symbol at an angle. It doesn't look like it matches the sword, and actually the groove that's kind of hewn into it, what at first looked like it was impacted or wounded by some sort of damage. On closer look, it looks intentionally placed or carved in, and so you have this kind of cat's eye yellowish sphere with this kind of 3-inch wide, kind of almost pointed oval line in the front.
Looks like an oval. It's an eyeball.
Yeah.
Could be the end of a sending stone
Do
or
any of
something.
the short swords, long swords, battle axes, any of those register under Caleb's magics? Or they're just nicely made?
They're just well made, like freshly made, and we're being sent somewhere.
Should we take them
Do you want to see something?
I hold it up in front of my face.
Ah, you're a
Can
Cyclops
I
killer!
see through it?
Bring that.
You cannot.
Come with me, okay? See, and I start showing the different glyphs and start the ritual.
Something about that
He's teaching you
is
magic.
very familiar.
Listen carefully.
I am.
I don't
Of
want
ritual casting.
I'm not going to interrupt, but that sphere just looks very
Like an eyeball.
familiar. Do you mind if I? Is it wet?
Wait. Is anyone going to interrupt me before I get to the end of
let's wait
identify?
in real time 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Can I just sit down next to him and just touch it?
Sure. Okay.
Touch it meaning his penis.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You're welcome, Internet.
All right. So as Fjord is as Caleb's concentrating on it, you go ahead and reach out and touch the stone. Your body immediately goes cold.
Oh, he's dead. He died. He
Could have waited 11 minutes, but no.
Your vision vanishes from your eyes as darkness fills your world. Your lids itch like some sand or dirt now scrapes the inside of the skin, and you rub them with your wrist. Your eyes open to find yourself somewhere else. The sky is moonlit and cloudless, the starry night looking down at you. Your clothes are not your own, nor is your body. A thick, brown leather overcoat lined in buckles wraps around your torso while sun-weathered human skin marks your flesh. You notice your hands are dirty and thick with calluses as you clutch the very same yellow polished stone in your left hand. Looking down, you see the body of the individual who was its previous owner, now still in a pool of crimson dark. You glance around the place, some jungle-grown natural landmass by a pond. The smell of seawater is strong on the wind in the middle of the night. Flash. And your right hand grasps the familiar falchion, water dripping from the blade. A voice booms into your mind. Potential. A sudden uncontrollable hunger overcomes you as you instinctually jam the stone into your gut. It slowly sinks into your human flesh painlessly as it's being pushed into your torso. Consume. As it quickly vanishes within your belly, the hunger subsides as exhaustion takes over. You fall to your knees and look within the water, your reflection familiar but not your own. Vandren. Reward. Just as quickly as the vision came, in the blink of an eye it's gone. Your reflection now that of the familiar half-orc, looking into the pool where the stone was found. But the stone is gone. The rest of you guys watched in the middle of this concentration while Fjord touched the stone, grabbed it, and jammed it into his chest. Before all of you could even react and push forward, it had already been thrust through his armor and into his body. You reach over and try and grab him, and with a strength you've never felt in this body, he lurches towards the pond and thrusts it fully in, seemingly under some sort of uncontrolled force. his eyes glazed over and staring forward. Suddenly, he comes back, and as you glance around, you feel tension on your body as all your friends are grabbing onto your body and pull you away from the pool.
Where's the orb?
It's gone.
What the fuck was that? What just happened?
Okay.
How do I feel?
Exhausted.
A little clammy, a little warm.
You actually take a point of exhaustion.
What just happened?
Can I touch his chest and his stomach?
Check to see if there's a scar or
hole
anything.
on him or
There's no damage to the armor. And as you pull back some of the leather plates, there's no sign of a wound.
I feel funny. What happened?
Caleb, did you identify it before it went into him? What was it?
Into me?
He was a thing in you!
It's now in your
grabbed
chest.
the stone before I had a chance to finish what I was doing. Why did you do that?
I felt like I'd seen it before. I just wanted to touch it.
Why?
I don't know. You ever see something like you felt like you seen it in a dream before, but you don't know why or how?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I felt compelled to. I felt like there was half a chance I would touch it and it wouldn't be there. I saw things.
Like what?
People I knew. The man was very dear to me. I don't understand it, but I was him, and he was holding the sphere. The eye.
I was him. What does that mean?
Who was he?
You ever have that dream where you look in the water and you see another face looking back at you like you're someone else?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
50. You said I put the sphere in my.
Yeah, you like stuck it into your chest.
Into your
I saw him do. I saw me as him doing the same thing. He was standing over someone covered in blood, and he put the sphere inside of me. He was my mentor, a captain of mine, a man named Vandren.
I've heard you say his name before.
Yes. I haven't seen him in quite some time. I don't know what any of this means, but I'm not a fan of losing track of time like that.
Well, what if you're cursed now? What? How do we know you're going to be okay? You have a weird thing inside of you.
Do you feel any like heartburn or any like constipation? Because that thing was like big and it's.
I mean, it just totally
I
went.
kind of like bend over and put my hands on my knees and like.
You don't feel any strange spheres in the inside of your abdomen.
I don't feel anything. I do feel pretty tired though.
What happened to Vandren?
I'm not exactly sure. He may be dead. He captained a ship that I've worked on for many years, and there was an incident.
Did the ship sink?
I believe so. There was
Were you on
an explosion, and we were in terrible weather. There were waves. We were being thrown about, and I was knocked overboard. I never saw what happened to Vandren, but when I woke up, I was back on shore, and I didn't see anything of the ship or him or any of the other crewmates.
Maybe he's alive and you were seeing through his eyes right now.
I would like that. I would like that very much. He was very good to me when a lot of people in my life haven't been. But he was holding the sphere. How could he be holding it if I was?
Maybe there's more than one.
maybe if you concentrate on his idea, maybe you can feel him somewhere. Maybe this thing is like a beacon to him.
Or maybe he's cursed and he's going to turn evil and kill us all in our sleep.
Or maybe you're cursed.
It's just Molly and I in our room, right?
Yeah.
Can I confide in you for something?
Oh, yes, please.
I'm a little unnerved about this sword. Would you stand watch for a second?
This seems like a bad idea, sure.
All right. I'll summon the Waste Hunter Falchion.
As it emerges from your grasp, you can see there's the slight splash of seawater across the wall. And there you can see in the center of the pommel, previously was just the well-crafted hilt of the blade. You see a single yellow lidless eye on each side.
Is it look like does it look like anything? Does it remind me of like a mystic symbol of any kind, or?
Make an Arcana check.
All right.
There's no religious symbology here. In thinking through, there's nothing that gives you the essence that there is any sort of belief system locked into this that you're aware of. But looking at it, in one, it immediately reminds you of whatever it was that he jammed into his stomach. And two, the image of it and the kind of sea-based theme of these experiences that Fjord has been having leads you to believe that this is something very old and something that resides probably beyond land and possibly beyond this sea. That's as much as I can give you. Which is more than you should have gotten, but you rolled a 20.
Does the iris move at all, or is it just static?
Currently, it's just static.
What happened to you on that boat? Something might have followed you.
Nothing like this. I've never seen anything like this eye before. Only in that dream where Vandren was holding it. He pushed it in his chest, but this is smaller. This sword just seems to take in things.
You're going to forgive me for this later. I cast Friends.
Okay, so for the next minute, you have advantage on your charisma checks.
Actually, I'm so sorry, not Friends. I'm so sorry, it's not Friends, it's Charm Person.
You're doing Charm Person?
I'm so sorry, it's Charm Person.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Thank you.
Why did I ask? It's an 18.
And he resists it. You feel your mind begin to cool with subtle arcane influence, and you shrug it off.
There's something in you that you either don't want to talk about or don't remember properly, I think.
Well, you could have just asked.
No, I don't think I could have.
If anything, it's the latter. There's
I
not a
know.
lot I remember about being in the ocean.
Which is why I didn't ask.
Right.
I trust that you'll tell me everything you know, but I'm not sure you even know everything you know.
Maybe. But that's why I asked you to stay in the room. I'm not entirely sure I trust this thing.
I don't think it matters where the sword is at all.
Maybe. Can I try and focus on the sword? I close my eyes, put both hands on the hilt, and just concentrate on it real hard.
You grab it and you focus and you focus and you focus. And much like an element of the dreams you've had and the spells that you pull from whatever this agreement you've made with this entity may have been, you can feel that thread connection from you to something beyond your hemisphere. It's like that sensation of someone looking at you, and you just know someone's looking at you, and you turn to look and there's nobody there. It's like that all the time, right now. But you can't read more than that.
Last thing, may I?
Don't take any offense, but no. And I make it disappear.
Something from the deep is in that. I don't know. It reminds me of something.
Yeah, me too. I'm just not sure what. Please, I only confided in you because I feel like the strange is sort of your, ballpark.
I'll keep an eye. And no matter what, keeping each other safe. That's what we do. It's what you do when you've got a group of people.
Agreed.
We'll keep you safe.
Appreciate it, Molly. And I'll turn in.
I'll probably be up for an hour and then I'll turn in.
What does the coin look
That
like?
will kill you.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, physical props! Yes.
A little greasy.
Should they open it? Should they open it?
Yes, it could be a wedding
Okay, I
invitation.
did it already. Ooh.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
Oh goodness. Whoa, what is this thing? There's a drawing on it. It's a really good drawing.
It is a very good drawing.
That peach.
Cantaloupe.
It's like a melon with a cut in it. Many thanks to you. What is that name?
Jonas?
Ionos, I think is what
Maybe.
it is. For dealing with the thieves who appropriated my possession. Reliability like this will prove profitable for you and your house should you continue to be. 1/2 of our agreed payment is enclosed. Is that the 100 platinum was 1/2 of it? With the other being paid upon the recovery of the cloven crystal. I think that's what this thing is. It is imperative that you find this bauble and return it to me. It has great sentimental value to me and my family. This rendering should suffice to guide the discerning eyes of your hunters.
I pull out the red gem and hold it next to the picture. Does it look like the same?
The red gem is just kind of a square-shaped, hued
Yeah.
gem.
Yeah.
That looks like it's like a crystal sphere with like a giant hacked crack across the front of it.
Time is of the essence, and should I not have it by
Really
the end of
familiar to you.
Queen Pillar? Queen's
Quen Pillar?
Queen Pillar? Is that a month? What is that?
Quinn Pilar is a month, yes.
Yeah, we know that month.
Time is of the essence. Should I not have it by the end of Quen Pilar, I will be forced to end our agreement and seek a business relationship elsewhere. I warn you, we are fiercely loyal to those who appease us and staunchly resentful to those who do not.
And then he said, when he was writing it for sure.
When recovered, please deliver to
Marius Lepoil at the Wayfarer's Cove.
Thank you. No, tell him you have a gift
For the
For the
captain.
captain.
And it's signed Avantika.
The Wayfarer's Cove, you're also familiar with. It's one of the 3 main shipping yards of Nicodranas.
That is you guys.
So what's the gist of this letter? Someone hired someone to get some stuff back from a thief. There's more stuff. If they don't get it soon, someone will be pissed off.
So wait,
Marius Le Pen?
somebody hired. Do you think? Oops.
Whoa.
Do you think somebody hired Lorenzo to do this, or do you think that Lorenzo stole this from
Yes,
somebody?
sir. Will you hold up that letter so I can see the drawing, please?
Do you recognize it, Ford?
Doesn't everybody?
It looks kind of
Oh,
like a
yes.
cantaloupe
Yes, we
with
saw
a
one of these.
hole in it.
It's in your belly.
Is that what's in your belly?
Belly?
It's pretty damn close.
Fucking high.
So wait. So we just need
Hold
to
on. This
return
letter
you.
was for you? Are you Marius Le Pen?
Do you know Avantika?
I just sit down in the floor and lean back against the wall.
Okay. So
Okay.
the Marrow stole that.
From
A water place, right? The
you just
Wayfarer's.
spit on this letter.
I'm
I saw it
a
happen.
goblin. I spit.
Did you know, Ford, that the thing that's inside of you is called the cloven crystal?
To spend a few days across the jungles of the island to see what there is to be found there. You see, this object, this sphere, it needs to return. There is a temple in there that is from long ago and has been since refitted by its current denizens. Something at the very bottom of that temple requires to be reunited with this thing I seek. So,
What is it at the bottom of the temple?
Do you, does the name Ukotoa mean anything to you?
Sure as fuck doesn't.
Ukotoa, the great Leviathan.
Krakatoa.
Gate of the Leviathan?
The great Leviathan.
Oh, the great Leviathan. The great
Well, I
Leviathan.
have a good sense of it.
It's a fucking Leviathan.
Friggin' warlock.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
What?
It's in your book. It's in your book.
Her eyes are trained on Fjord as she says this. For you see, I am the chosen of Ukotoa. As she pulls the scarf down from under her neck, and you can see kind of in the sternum there's a tattoo of an eye. You see, this great serpent once ruled the Lucidian Ocean.
Leviathan.
Your reactions are killing me, Travis. Shortly after the calamity washed this land clean, and Zahir, the cloaked serpent god, was banished long away, one of his greatest creations was left to rule this ocean. The indigenous people of this series of islands, the Swain Islands, called the Kinau, were granted the blessing of Ukotoa. And nothing. Nothing and no one could stand before them. However, the surviving worshippers of this once powerful god, now banished, grew jealous. And sealed him beneath the rocky depths of the ocean, defaced the temples built in their name. I seek to bring him back. And with their blessing, these seeds were mine. So let me tell you, you've put in with the proper lot.
So say we all. Yeah.
She puts the scarf back up to hide the tattoo. So, I've shown you mine.
Lord.
You show me yours. Or the...
Avantika.
Okay?
How can you be certain that you're the only chosen one of Ukotoa?
Bless you.
Ukotoa.
Let's all do that together.
Slowly, okay. Well, I'm not certain, but I'm the one who has the dreams.
The dream.
Okay, she said dreams. She said dreams. She has
What dreams? You have wet dreams too.
You do. You have dreams.
This big smile curls across her face, and you watch her go a little flush. She goes, what kind of dreams?
Do you often wake up vomiting salt water? Do you have wet dreams?
She looks a little confused, but says, no, unlike some, I can hold my brine.
Not looking at me, right? I'm a. You have dreams. I've had dreams of being deep underwater. There's a giant eye that sees me. I hear a voice speaking to me, but I can't reply. Does that ring any bells?
Her smile just grows wider. So, Ukotoa has spoken to you as well. So perhaps it was not just some strange coincidence you found your way here, then?
Perhaps not. Perhaps this is destiny.
Oh my
I
God,
must
you
tell
guys.
you, I am very eager to see what this leads to. I haven't been entirely honest. The item you seek does not lie on Vile Court. What the fuck is it called? Vodka! It does not reside there. I have it protected in an alternate dimension, and I'll use minor image to show the sphere and make it disappear. If we can work together, I would like to accompany you to this temple you speak of. I would like to see it find its resting place.
Fjord, if we venture into this sticky wicket, do you share, even in a small way, similar desires as this woman? Do you want to control the sea?
It's the first time I've heard of it. I mean, it sounds incredible, but I can't even begin to fathom what that would be like, that responsibility. I don't know who I would be if I could wield something like that.
Well, you are grappling with a great deal of power. We have watched you do it. Are you trying to understand this thing better? Be free of it? Master it?
Understand it would be a start.
You can't know what to do until you understand it. I mean, that's step one.
Yeah.
And once you understand it, we'll try and help you make a reasonable decision about what to do with it.
What if the closer you get to it, the weirder you get? Like what if you start feeling those urges like she has and stuff?
What urges?
Like the powerful urges.
That's a good question.
Well, I've asked Bo to check me, and I'll check her on areas of aggression. And if I start controlling the oceans and shit, maybe we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But until then, I can only tell you, I only want to know more about this and find out about what happened to my friend. That's
Vandren.
about as far as I'm thinking.
Okay.
Well, let's do that then.
I'm into it.
Let's get some rest.
Fjord.
No, God, damn it!
You walk in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Your eyes trained on a barely visible horizon of faded blue. The lightless midnight horizon that breaks this endless void. The ground is soft beneath your feet, and your slow gait bounces slightly with each step, like time is crawling in this buoyant space. You look down at yourself, obscured by shadow, until a faint yellow light bursts from your sword. The light of a yellow eye now open from the hilt like a lantern, lighting a tangled forest of kelp before you. Bubbles escape the corner of your mouth, but you breathe the waters calmly like a thick vapor. You search through the mass of shifting, slick sea vines, eventually coming upon the base of a staircase going up. What do you do?
I climb those motherfucking stairs.
As you ascend the cold stone stairs, the beam of the eye lighting the way, your passage is suddenly blocked by something. A statue, humanoid but featureless.
Provoke.
I'll fire 2 blasts of Eldritch Blast at it.
Statue breaks apart, its various shards emerging from the detonation and slowly sinking in what is now the thick waters around you. As the head stumbles past the light at the edge of your sword, the face is recognizable in a flash. Sabian. You push beyond continuing to ascend the stairs. You come upon another statue, larger and looming more than the last. What do you do?
Witch bolt. Right to its chest.
As the darkened energy arcs from the hilt of your blade, hitting it, you watch as the cracks spider up the stone before it detonates into hundreds of shards of dark stone. You see half of the face slowly hit and clatter onto the stonework before falling off to the side. Vandren. Do you continue up?
The stairs, are they staying the same? Is there anything at the foot of the statue after they break apart?
Looking down, the statue itself is now immaterial. You've entirely annihilated it, and you glance over the side, and what few shards still remain slowly drift beyond your view into the dark abyss below.
I'll move forward.
Continuing to ascend these steps one by one. They grow more and more narrow, but you think you see what appears to be an approaching surface of some kind. You're clear of the water, suddenly breaking the surface, and you're standing in a dark stone chamber. You've managed to get all the way up, standing within the ankle-high water in the middle of the stone chamber, and you watch as all the liquid begins to drain. Until there's no more water around you. Revealing in the center of this chamber an intricate circle in the ground, maybe 2 feet across. Beautiful, ancient craftsmanship, detailed to depict a serpent body coiled. Carved eyes emerging from the creature's body every few inches. The center of the water is a circle of water, like a well.
Watching.
What do you do?
I'll summon the sword and hold the eye up, facing the circle.
As you pull the blade up, you see the light hits the water and is absorbed by it. You don't see anything beneath it. It seems to be almost just a void that eats the light.
Void that eats the light. Can I walk into the center of the circle?
You step into it?
Well, I definitely do now.
Well, is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay. You step into the circle. It's only a few inches deep of water, and your feet feel the bottom. It is shallow. But you're now standing above it. It's only about 2 feet across, so it's basically you standing over this small pool.
Is there a ceiling? Are there walls? Are there statues in this space?
Looking around you, you can see stone walls, and you can see a ceiling above you. It is this almost plain, featureless room, aside from the very edges of what looks to be stone stacked upon itself.
Watching. Can I look into the eye of the sword? Do I see anything?
You look towards the hilt, and the eye just stares back at you, the light kind of temporarily blinding you for a moment as you adjust.
What the fuck? Can I try and take the edge of the blade and press it into the floor?
You press the blade in through the water, and it hits the stone.
Jesus. I don't know what you want from me!
No response. Then you hear once more. The handle of the sword is somewhat slick in your grasp from the water you were traveling from before, and you feel the blade almost trying to turn in your grasp, turning the eye away from you.
I'll let it go where it's leading and point it towards the floor.
It slowly finds its way, just resting, facing down towards the pool.
Okay. Sure. Can I put my face in the water?
You place your face down into the water, and as opposed to the stone surface you've seen there, it is just this vacuous black void. And there you see in a sudden instant, the eye opens up before you, the bright yellow light enveloping you. Suddenly there's searing heat, and you pull back out of the pool, and the entire chamber is filled with blazing hot steam. It hurts at first, but then it begins to feel nice. This burning sensation crawling across your body, going instead from pain to a surge of strength, of control, of purpose. The voice again says, "Reward." And as you look up around you, the stone falls away, and on the distance, you can see that horizon once more. Now an endless ocean. You can see the faint ripples of waves across a sourceless bit of moonlight. And there you just see dozens of ships coming towards you. What do you do?
Can I reach my hand out and try and control the ship?
As you concentrate, looking towards the right of you, where it looks like 4 or 5 vessels are in a localized portion of this black, endless ocean, as you concentrate, you see the water begin to boil beneath them.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and grab whatever the fuck that is and pull it up.
You watch as the ocean fires up like a spire, a pillar of solid ocean water. You watch as the ships are scattered in different directions as it slams them down once more, scattering them into thousands of pieces of splintered wood.
Can I take both hands and just do a coup de grace, like 2 big over the top?
You watch as the center of the ocean parts, giving this slight vacuum, this almost dual-sided abyssal crevice in the center of the ocean. On the opposite ends of where your hands rise, you watch the waves rise up, and in one fell swoop, 2 solid crystalline walls of water slam together, and then even out. As the ripples subside, all you can see are the thousands and thousands of glittering shards of what once were that armada.
Fucking Moses shit.
Don't wake up, don't wake up, don't wake up, don't wake up.
Reward. Take it.
And you wake up.
You see now the bottom begin to approach. Just within the peripheral of your dark vision, you can see where the floor greets to meet you, and you pick up enough speed to where you both impact the bottom of this chamber at the same time. You both hit. She looks up at you and her eyes meet, and you see a few bubbles kind of escape from her mouth, and you see her just big, wide, toothy grin. And she begins scraping grime off the floor.
I do the same.
All right, make an investigation check. Well, as the two of you are currently scraping bits of grime and algae off the ground, you can see now there are bits of plants that are kind of growing up like lightless kelp that seems to have made some sort of a living down here in the subterranean water-filled chamber. And as you're pushing through and scraping around, your hand scoops this large bit of grime from in front of you, and you can see what looks to be a stone relief at the very, very base of the bottom, a concave spherical shape about the size of a fist. She notices it, looks at it, and looks at you. What are you doing?
Can I try and like stick my hand in my chest?
You can.
Does it go anywhere?
You go and jam your hand, and it's hitting your armor. It's
yeah.
You have a full-on leather plate right there.
Like the size of a fist?
Yeah, or like,
but
you know,
like a sphere, right?
It's about that big, and you can see it is concave. It's about the size of the stone that you had found.
Yeah, that's in my body.
Poop it out.
I don't know how. I don't have an eject button. Can I summon the falchion?
You can. The falchion appears in your hand, and as you do, this bright yellow light is now emanating from the center of its hilt, where the eye itself is glowing with its own lantern-like source. At which point, Avantika is now rushing towards that thing.
Something's about to happen, and I just jam the eye.
Make an initiative roll, because you gave her enough time to get up right next to you, and now we're going to see who gets to it first.
Oh, 6.
6? Yeah. Her hand, she's now pulled the glove from her right hand, And as you go to thrust the hilt of the falchion down towards it, you see her hand reach out and just manage to cover the little space first. As it does, you can see her body kind of like tense for a second, and where her hand is, suddenly this bright, familiar yellow glow seems to now spread from between her fingers, sending beams off in multiple directions. You see her face looks like aghast and shock for a second, and a large bubble kind of escapes from her mouth. She looks over to you with this kind of dazed look and pulls her hand back, and there you can see in the palm, there's this large open wound where like blood's beginning to just kind of like cloud the dark water below, and there in the center of this hole you can see one of the cloven stones there. At which point you see a bunch of these runes begin to glow in 3 different directions from around the base, up the sides, up the chamber. The rest of you, kind of looking around, suddenly see this kind of dull blue glow begin to get brighter and brighter from within this well, and you watch as these runes that you guys didn't notice except for the 2 of you before begin to suddenly begin to glow up the sides. The 3 pillars suddenly begin to spiral and glow as all these runes come to life. And you see as Avantika pulls back and looks at her hand, she looks back at you, her eyes kind of blink for a second, and she just smiles, and you hear this earth-shuddering, soulful crack sound just rocks the entirety of the temple. You watch as bubbles suddenly, like this one burst of air that had been trapped in the grime below is all immediately released as one, kind of rise up to the water above, and you can look around and you can see the interior of this. There is a heavy black crack in the stone of this chamber. As you guys all hear this earth-shattering BAM! Dust kind of falls off the ceiling of this chamber from the inside. You look and you watch as the pillars themselves still stand, but there are multiple places in this chamber now where these large black cracks now seem to have snaked their way in one instant burst across parts of the wall.
Are picking the lock.
The glowing runes blink out.
I think the lock's picked.
Maybe they might need 3. There's 2 of 3, and I'm eyeing Jamedi as I say that. Presumably just 2 of 3. But as long as it's just 1, maybe Fjord is thinking better of it.
I immediately start searching on the ground for another opening.
Make an investigation check.
You know, maybe it's not all here. Maybe it's in another location. Maybe there are 2 other temples.
12.
You start pulling through the weeds and the kelp and the grime, and nothing. It's all smooth stone except for this one little alcove that you found first. Avantika is now swimming frantically up towards the surface.
Frantically?
Like, just trying to kick. She lost quite a bit of air.
I'll go grab her.
You go grab her? Mm-hmm. Okay. Make a grapple check. Make an athletics check. And no, she kicks right out of your grasp. She looks back with an expression of surprise.
Pointing at the ground.
Make a deception check.
Look at those.
Underwater deception.
Travis, you have your fate too.
Natural 20.
Okay, she looks confused and continues swimming upward, not reading too much into it.
Okay.
As you guys are trying to make some distance here, you look over at Avantika, who has her one ungloved hand. You can see kind of the gap where the open wound is just a little bit of blood trickling down her forearm where the eye once was. And she kind of looks at it and closes her fist and closes her eyes. And you feel the rowboat suddenly pick up speed. And you watch as the water and the waves now kind of give an additional thrust, like the ocean itself is like rising and pushing the boat forward. And you watch Avantika kind of open her eyes and smile and looks over at Fjord and goes, "Well, better luck next time, huh?" The boat is now like speedboating across the surface of the water. The other rowboat kind of left behind in its wake. Takes the little silk robe and places it over and sits down. There are already 2 glasses placed on the table, and she uncorks it and pours 2 glasses.
To your success.
To our success in time, huh?
One can hope. It's only fair. You've been on this journey far longer than I have.
This is true. Not the best wine you've had, but it's serviceable.
Not aerated.
Well, I am excited for you to experience this.
I am as well. Is it everything you thought it would be?
I've only but scratched the surface, and I've never felt a connection like this with the sea that has been my life. It's incredible. I can only do it in bursts, but I can cause it to swell and move and part and flood and shift. It's soon. She reaches out and touches the top of your head. Soon, I promise. Now, we were talking before, and I think it's only fair. And she takes another big sip. Your blade is very interesting. I knew one other who had a blade very similar. Referred to it as the Sword of Fathoms.
Sword of Fathoms?
The previous chosen.
Can you tell me more about this person who wielded it?
His name was Vandren. A fine sailor and a foolish coward he ended up to be, but he was the one that opened my eyes to the destiny of Okatora. We traveled together for a number of years before he just abandoned and absconded with something important. I've been trying to find out where he went, but he is very slippery, and wherever he is, either what you have in your sword is what he took away, or wherever he is, he has the third with him.
And this Vandren, you say he told you about the Sword of Fathoms, or he had a Sword of Fathoms?
He carried the same blade?
Carried the same one. Was there an area, a destination, a direction that you last knew that he was going? Is it in our interest to try and find him?
It is very much in our interests. We were going to go and visit this very island some time ago, when he was the only one to have one of these orbs.
How did you find, if you don't mind my asking, yours?
Well, I had to kill a number of men. It was being auctioned off in Port du Malais, and there was a collector. Word had gotten to us that this artifact was sold off to this individual, and well, needless to say, he put up a bit of a struggle.
I'm sure he did.
But thankfully, this collector enjoyed nights long at sea, and that happens to be our specialty. So his corpse now adorns one of the many beautiful islands, and, well, now I have this beautiful reminder in the hand. You can see it's now mostly healed over. But there is like a scar where this orb once resided in her palm. And as sleep takes you, you find yourself kicking through the thick, sludge-like waters that surround you, sluggish in your movements, The darkness all-encompassing, yourself alone in these shadowed depths. A faint green light is visible in the distance. You push and swim towards it, the light growing brighter, closer. As that grows closer, a second light, even further, impossibly distant. But you can acknowledge it, rests on the horizon. As that first light gets brighter, you can see the source taking shape. It's a figure, female, nude, also swimming. Avantika, emanating this strange green glow, swimming ahead of you, her body wreathed in this faint greenish yellow aura. She looks and points to you, and the waters around you seem to glow with the same colored light. You look down at your body and you see that you are now the third glowing source of this green energy. And suddenly the waters are easy to traverse. What was once sluggish and difficult to ford is second nature. A voice comes through. Watching. The distant light you see suddenly dives with incredible speed, nearly out of sight. Avantika dives down after it, rocketing down below you, breakneck in her speed. You dart after her to give chase, moving far quicker than you anticipated. You realize the water is becoming thinner and thinner, like air. You're falling. 3 shooting stars plummeting through a dark sky. Learn. Glancing down below this endless void you plummet towards, you make out the details of what seems to be a surface rushing towards you. You plummet towards an ocean. The faint, distant, endless glittering of moving, shifting waves of some sourceless moonlight just barely giving the shapes below. With 3 large masses beneath you, like a misshapen triangle of land masses of incongruent sizes. 1, 2, 3. You rocket downward towards the space between the 3, the center of this triangle, hitting the waters of the ocean with tremendous force. Impact but no pain. You sink, the light of the other 2 figures glittering through the lightless waters. Down, down you sink, until you see a structure come into view from below. A tilted tower wrapped in sea vines, the hollow center providing a wide tunnel further within. You peer inside this empty tunnel of the tower's depths and watch as a sudden bright yellow light shines from within, a gleaming yellow eye. Reward. As the 2 other lights seem to try and drift towards you, behind you, you fall into darkness and the dream ends.
Ford, you know why everybody is doing this, why we're all here, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think
you know. I just wanted to point it out, because that woman, she doesn't care what any of us want. I'm sure she'd be interested, but it's way low on her priorities, and I don't trust anybody who puts other people's needs that low on the list. And you should keep in mind of that while you're getting in bed with them, so to speak.
Is anybody out here in earshot? Just a quick look around.
Outside at the moment, no.
Nope.
Yeah, listen, about that. Let's just keep it right between the amigos, all right? Just because.
What part of the body is the amigo?
No, that's us, right? 1 amigo, 2 amigo. You and I are
all right, yeah.
amigos.
Okay.
and it'll be like our thing. Like it's, like we're bunkies. We share like
amigos. We share amigos.
Yeah. No, we're not going to share amigos. We are the amigos.
Oh, well, that's okay,
right.
That's even
Sharing
better.
amigos is a whole other.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I think I get it, but I'm not going to talk out of turn, and I trust your intentions. So,
well, actually, that's what kind of wanted to talk to you about. You're real good at picking up on little things, yeah?
You're asking if I can tell that you're conflicted?
No, I think that's pretty clear.
You'd be amazed, but all right.
I'm just letting you know I'm trying to keep her close. I feel like this whole thing is just getting a little out of sorts, and the best way to maybe keep a small finger on the pulse of things is just to...
Sure. Just, you're a good man, Fjord, so, just be careful, because I imagine it's a little out of character being honest and truthful with somebody in a deceptive way. It can muddle a good man up, whereas it doesn't muddle a bad man up.
Yeah. Haven't been very good at it so far.
That's one of the reasons why I like you.
Thank you.
Here for you, man.
Cause some commotion at the top. Caleb, what do you got? Oh, that's been time.
He's making.
We'll say by now you've completed.
Well, it's up to you. It's up to you.
I know. So you can.
All the certain salt ignites, and then suddenly, whoa! What does it say?
As you go through it, it's kind of hard to follow since it's shorthand. Like it's broken sentences and pieces. They look to be notes from dreams.
Oh, shit.
That could be good
Yes,
stuff.
yes it could. Yes it could. It's got the apricot tree.
Please be an almanac. Sorry.
It goes through discussions of mentions of Vandren, mentions of being given the mark, the eye on her person, and after a ritual that was shown to her by Vandren, the dreams began. The dreams involved this great eye coming to her, with phrases written down: provoke, consume, learn, reward. Begins to discuss images that involve having to fight through dark waters, having to follow signs, being promised power with gifts and actions that show leadership and drive towards this entity. It spoke about Vandren guiding her, and then spoke about him getting cold feet. Spoke on him mistrusting the dreams and his weakness. And it spoke on an attempt to then gift Vandren as a sacrifice. But he got away.
So Caleb would, seeing this play out as he reads, would explain it all very carefully.
You're also memorizing.
And delicately, because he knows how conflicted a subject, how charged a subject it would be for Fjord. But does tell everyone in the room everything.
And then discusses the search for Vandren for months and months to no avail. Eventually changing focus to instead continue to improve the joyous boons and earn the yellow light of the eye. More dreams with patterns of figures in her way, people that were close to her that she felt were barricades, chains that held her back, and getting rid of them. You're not entirely certain what getting rid of them means, but at least out of the path. Finding others that begin to also learn of the joys and the promise of ruling this sea, and how no matter how much Dark Toe is the center of the revelry and the power of the Plank King, who can possibly not choose to bend the knee to those who control the oceans they sail on? It then goes to talk about other notes and scavenged bits talking about the finding of Urukazel, of the difficulties in hiring people that would go there, the hiring of Jamedi to search it out finally over time, and you find some other notes about another location from another dream she had that involves 3 land masses of different shapes. There's a few notes and questions around it, but one of them does say archipelago ? And seems to mark these as a possible.
3 land masses right there.
Nah.
She's cooked.
And then it goes into a few brief phrases about the newcomers, discussing how the mist was taken. And it's not a lot written in this book.
Which one's your favorite? Which one's her favorite?
All it says is, I found another chosen. Perhaps this one will be more useful than Vandren.
And I fucked him.
It does not say that. And that's where the notes finish.
In my minor detail, in Caleb's deciphering of all the fragments, was there any sense that there was any kind of romantic relationship between Avantika and Vandren? Or it's unclear?
It is very unclear.
Okay.
So, it's the woman of the hour. What have you to say about yourself and these strangers that come waltzing into our little haven and causing all sorts of ruckus, murdering your crew and making these claims against you? Known you for years.
And Avantika, hand behind in shackles, goes, well, you can see her face, though you can see the bits where like dirt, sweat lines have made their way across and down the sides of her chin and jaw, looking intently at the rest of you with a forced smile through her teeth. There is a look of murderous rage and loss in her eyes as you have murdered a majority of her crew. She goes, well, I can guarantee that I kept no journal. They came to me at sea with discussion of perhaps coming and joining my crew, looking for means of aid and gold. And they began to talk of this strange entity, this Ukatoa. Well, I followed suit. I wanted to make for some kind of alliance. I kind of found particular interest with one of their individuals, and she looks over towards Fjord. But it seemed such a romance was merely just another way to try and toss me to the proverbial wolves, or marrow, if it will. They've now killed my crew, they've taken a number of my things, damaged my ship, and they're trying to smear my name, one who has walked alongside you and all of you fine folks for the past 10 years. Even using the memory of Vandren against me. You hear a few voices go like, Vandren.
So now we're going to find the place where your ship wrecked, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
You didn't get to ask them about the Vandren, though.
No, I didn't. It hurts to see so many react to a name that only meant so much to me. But, I mean, I don't even know if he's alive. We might find him down there.
Wow. Do you think, if we find him, you'll stop talking like him?
Yeah, we'll see.
You know, I could probably send a message to the Plank King and ask him about Vandren if you want me to.
What do you mean?
Well, I can send him a message.
I suppose. What would you put in the letter to the Plank King?
Whatever you want me to.
I mean, I don't know if it's necessary. I can't think of anything as of yet. I don't know. Maybe I'll just let you know. Thank you for offering, though.
Of course.
Fjord. What do you do?
I'm going to turn with the falchion in my hand and search the throne.
Okay, search action?
Yeah.
Make an investigation check for me. I'll say with advantage because you have the falchion drawn. You can sense the presence of something important. Correct. Going to the throne and kind of sensing with the sword, almost like a homing beacon, you feel the strong source kind of where the cushion in the front of the throne is, and it's partially rotted, and you can see like what once was like kind of red, nice velvet materials that's kind of blackened over time, and general just sediment in the area, and the minerals begin to gather at the corners. You reach down and tear across the front and pull it open, and as you do, there immediately glowing from underneath, you see the yellow sphere giving off a faint aura of light.
Can I reach for it?
I'll let you do that, yeah.
Take it.
What are we doing here, Fjord?
Can I hold up the sphere in one hand and the falchion in the other?
Yeah.
Do they react to each other?
They both get brighter.
Can I try and hold the sphere to my chest?
Yes, you do. And as you take the sphere and press it to your chest, your eyes suddenly flash images of black sub-ocean darkness, the same place your dreams have brought you over and over again. And that bright yellow light emerges, breaking the shadow, and there you see the yellow eye with two more on the sides of it. You see the endless row of teeth that curves into the smile. And the flash is gone, and you look down, and your hand is empty. The rest of you watched this, and this thing just for momentarily seemed to become either ethereal or just it is absorbed into Fjord's chest. And you look at the sword, and now there's the eye in the hilt and the eye in the pommel.
No, look, I think we're overthinking it, right? I mean, same as before, I anticipate some crazy arcane stuff to activate, maybe a little rumble and a shake, and you guys have been more than accommodating. You don't need to be down here with me when it happens. If something does go wrong, that should be my burden. My price to pay, not yours.
We'll see through Frumpkin anyway.
Yeah. What if the chamber closes and you're stuck down here for it?
I don't think it will, and only because if Ukuto really wants me to do all of this for him, what good would trapping me down here do? I have the third sphere. I don't think he's going to hamstring me like that.
You know him pretty well.
No, I don't. But I wouldn't gum up the one person that was bringing me the thing that I needed to get out of demigod jail.
Still need to veer away from all this once we're done here?
Yeah, I'd like to. I don't know what that looks like. I don't even know how that'll go, but I don't want to unleash a sea snake beast on the world.
Carving up the walls and meeting the upper area with the faint bits of runes occasionally visible along. The same form of prison enchantment placed on this chamber as the one you've already seen.
I will kneel down in front of the recession, and I will look at the eye that's in the pommel of the falchion. Let's see what this does. And I'll place it in the recession.
Okay. As you place the sword pommel down into the center of that recess, the eye glows, your vision goes dark, and dark to black. Flash of bright yellow light. Your eyes kind of wince, though you force them open. Looking ahead of you, you can see a bright yellow eye, the size of your body, staring towards you, emitting this painful glow, the singular dark slit from top to bottom, focusing and twitching in your direction before it finds you.
Watching.
You hear a deafening crack, and though your eyes are still adjusting to the light before you and focusing intently on this eye, on the peripheral around it, you can just barely make out what looks to be shifting shadows, like tendrils or movement. Something serpentine beginning to shift. It seems to be resisting some sort of binds, making gains on them.
Adept.
A loosened tendril curls behind you. You don't change your focus. Looking into the eye, you feel like an icy blanket, this scaly-like tail, almost as large as your body, begin to wrap around you. The touch is freezing, ice cold, and you feel your back arch. It begins to envelop and squeeze you. The cold sensation overwhelms your senses. Your entire body goes numb and your vision begins to blur once more. The light of the eye begins to fade as the cold sensation and the grasp of this tendril becomes the entirety of your awareness. You hear a distant sound of muffled cracking again. As the blackness claims your vision, you see a distant shape, like a broken shore at midnight. Before you. Waves curl against this shore. This long, protracted beach. Just the faint bits of starlight and night giving you just the basic outline of it. Along that beach, you see 3 points of light. Different from what your previous vision were. They're not bright, singular points, but 3 focused gathering of dull lights. Glance over, there's cities. Cities at night, 3 of them along the shore. Beyond that, a faint bit of yellow grabs your attention. Beyond these 3 coastal cities, you see a forest. Jungle. You can't make out the details from this strange kind of elevated vantage point. You feel like you're flying above the sky. And the light goes brighter, and it's the same tint as the eye that summoned you here, as the spheres that you've claimed through your journey. Above that forest, you can see looming the peak of a mountain range. And as that light goes brighter and brighter in the heart of this jungle, you just hear once more,
Release.
the light gets brighter until it begins to hurt your eyes. You're trying to focus on it, trying to will yourself towards it, and it gets too much and you force your eyes shut. The minute you open them, you're back in the chamber. Your body is pins and needles as the numbness begins to fade. You glance down. The yellow sphere that was the base of your sword, the eye, it's just the dull, lifeless metal that was there when you first found the falchion. You watch as all the runes suddenly begin to glow with that same yellow, faint light. The spirals all around you. The stone shifts again and cracks. And you see bits of stone and leftover sediment begin to just release within the inside of the chamber.
Time to go. I'll head towards the tunnel. It could be. I don't really care. For now.
Are you afraid?
Did you learn who you are?
No, and the thing I wanted the most was, in some of these, I saw a vision of Vandren, whether as a statue or in a reflection or something, and I didn't see anything. Nothing.
Vandren.
It was like his mentor.
So you don't mean to pursue this any further right now?
No. No. And if I can, like to find some way out of it.
I was going to ask you, does it concern you to turn away from this thing's desires? Do you worry it will abandon you? Leave you a mere mortal again?
Yes. I like how I am now. And to answer your question, I have no idea. I've only been in its favor. I don't know what the other side would be like.
But you intend to leave the sea for now?
Yeah.
Do you think he can read your thoughts?
No. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if what he's telling you to do is go towards the coast, that is what you're doing. So maybe he still thinks you're on his side.
That's interesting.
You don't even know, do you?
No.
I mean, time might be on our side. Going off of Jester's point, 100 years can sometimes seem like 5 minutes for these godly type beings. Maybe he'll be content for a while.
I'm out of my depth. I have no idea. I don't know any more than you do. All I know is I'm ready to get off the sea for a bit. And unless I hear otherwise, all's well. No reason to assume otherwise.
A little weird. Eat a little bit of it. I'm going to meditate. And then I'm going to cast. Yeah, let's just cast divination.
Happy little scribe.
I don't know what.
And I'm going to feel out into the universe, and I'm going to wait for whatever sign, whether it be verbal or otherwise, or. Wonder what Vandren's doing right now.
What?
The warm, soft, comforting voice like a breeze kind of drifts past your ears as the hot wind unexpectedly through a cold night kind of drifts past your shoulders, staying out of sight, making amends. That's all.
That'll do.
Care of this. I want to find a blacksmith.
You seem unreasonably excited about that.
Well, it's not often that I have a pet project. I haven't had one in a while, and that was kind of the way I used to keep myself excited and busy back when I was home. So I've got a pet project, so it's been a while.
Do you need any help? What are you going to make something?
I'm pull out the broken sword hilt that I have.
Oh yeah, that.
Love to see about getting this fixed, maybe, and as a token of appreciation for Mr. Fjord for doing such a good job taking care of himself on his own quest and not getting sidelined into some bad thoughts.
That is very thoughtful of you. Thank you.
I also don't know how to find a blacksmith at the moment on the first night also, just to let Fjord know that I just want to let you know that while we're on the sea, I had a talk with my goddess. And, that friend of yours is still out there.
Friend of mine?
Yeah, that old friend of yours that you haven't seen in a while. What's his name?
Vandren?
Yeah, that's the one.
How do you know that?
I asked the Wildmother.
And is this the same as Jester talking to the Traveler? You hear from the Wildmother?
I feel like I would be speaking to things I didn't necessarily know about. I don't entirely know the Traveler, nor entirely understand what the Traveler is, but I know the Wildmother.
And you asked about him for me?
Yeah. Making amends, whatever that means.
He was making amends.
One way or another.
Thank you.
It's a very particular flavor of goodness that come from those who are offered so much temptation. I have some faith in you.
Fjord.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's been some time.
My dreams. Dry, empty plains. Flat, open, featureless. An endless horizon of empty earth. Beneath you, something shifts. You look down, your feet standing above a spring, small and trickling, burbling up from the ground below. The waters spew forth and begin to spread, rapidly drowning this endless expanse around you. In shifting waves, the level of the water comes beyond your nose, and you struggle to try and swim with it, but find your feet anchored to the ground beneath you. The surface escapes you upward, leaving you in freezing depths, fathoms below. Watching. The shadowed shape of an ever-twisting serpent form writhes and cages around you in all directions. Return. A single massive yellow serpent eye appears before you. Then another. Big and small, your entire periphery becomes dozens and dozens of different sized yellow eyes, single-slitted, staring directly at you. Reward. The shaded tendrils of Ukutoa begin to close in around you, binding you in a cocoon of cold, scaled flesh. Wonder. The tendrils knot and flex, crushing your body slowly. The pain is immeasurable. Your vision darkens and your body begins bleeding as you feel everything compress the life from you. Punish. Oh no. A final squeeze sends the last breath from your lungs in a muffled scream. You shoot awake, vomiting onto the ground next to you. Caduceus, you see this as suddenly shoots up. You look down, eyes blinking to see foam and briny seawater now slowly soaking into the hard, packed ground.
So Fjord, are you all right?
Yeah, just another dream.
Would you characterize this as a positive encouragement or perhaps a more negative reinforcement?
I think more of the latter. I don't feel like my favor with Ukutoa was as choice as it once was.
Why do you think it's angry with you?
You remember I told you there were like words that were repeated through these visions?
No, but sure.
Right, so I tell them about the old 4 words. Given that.
Yeah.
There were 2 new words, 3 maybe. But it was laced with a threat.
A threat?
Yeah, I mean, I'm supposed to be helping it to be released, right? Freed upon the world, and I have decided that that's not the best course of action. And in my dream, it saw fit to crush me.
Well, how do you feel now that you're not dreaming anymore?
Better.
Well, that's good.
You ever feel like you're not going to wake up from a dream when you're in it?
Yeah.
I'm worried about that.
Here you are, and I'm sure it could probably it would put greater strain and stress against you for not following its wishes if it could. But it didn't.
What if it can?
Why hasn't it?
I don't know. One thing I am sure of, though, it feels stronger. It feels more present, closer.
Well, I'm proud of you for maintaining your sense of self through all this. It's difficult sometimes when one is pulled by things greater than ourselves.
You said you commune with the mother, the all.
I do.
Yeah. Do you? Is it a two-way thing, or are you just putting yourself out there and seeing what comes back?
Oh, very much a two-way thing. I mean, there's no way nature isn't separate. We're part of it. We communicate with the world every day with every breath. Everything we do is our declaration of our love, adoration, or our denial of it.
Do you think she cares about the affairs of something like this?
Very much so. Without a doubt. I mean, I'm here.
I'm getting the feeling that maybe if I do nothing, like any kind of disease, it might just get worse. Maybe I should start thinking about a counter agent.
Is that what you want?
Maybe.
Well,
I mean, my dreams are one thing, right? And I kind of like kick some dirt on the vomit and spittle. That shit is,
it looks uncomfortable.
It's real. So,
well,
I don't know.
I think it's worth thinking about. And I think there will come a day where you really will have to make that choice. We'll help you with that choice, whatever it ends up being. I do think you're on a path, and I don't necessarily think it's the path of just being a servant to some creature. I'm very impressed, though.
Thanks.
I'll cook something if you need to.
No.
Put that in. That's a lot came out of you.
Yeah. I'll be fine. I'm just going to crash back out if you don't mind.
No problem.
Oh, God.
May have to tell the others in the morning just for safety's sake.
Okay.
Everybody's going to take care of you. It's going to be all right.
I turn over and try to go back to sleep.
Then hotel walls.
The sound of the rain gently lulls you to sleep. You can hear the water colliding against the wood on the outside of your chamber. And as you come to sleep, you can feel the rain on your skin.
Oh.
And you feel the water rise above your ankles to your knee, to your torso, and it's freezing cold. As soon as it hits the torso, your chest kind of seizes for a moment, and you have to catch your breath. And it rises higher and higher until you're fighting to catch your last breath of oxygen and inhale before the water level escapes and continues up into the lightless darkness. You swear you see something move in the water, and you glance to try and catch it, and you don't see it. And something shifts this way, and you look and you try and swim to gather it, but there's nothing's catching your eyes. The eye opens up before you, the light, golden and yellow, just completely enveloping your body, nude, swimming through the dark water. Reward. You feel this little heartbeat in your chest. You look down and you can see against the kind of dull gray skin of your chest, there's a yellowish light source, the same light as the eye before you, pulsing. a searing pain shoots into your chest, and you look down in the space where it's pulsing. The water just gets clouded with darkness, blood beginning to pour through and seep from your sternum. You reach and clutch for it, but it won't stop bleeding. And you start coughing and inhaling the water, and you feel yourself drowning and drowning, and coughing and coughing. Punish. In those throes of your body shaking, the light begins to fade and numb and drift as the darkness takes you, and you wake up coughing in your bed, seawater and a familiar display sputtering out of your mouth onto the edge of your bed. And you hear the clatter of metal. Cling, 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 cling.
I reach around in the dark for the sound.
Okay. Your falchion is on the floor.
Are you okay?
What? Yeah, nope. Sorry. I just was yes, sorry. Go back to sleep. Everything's fine.
You can still hear the rain outside. You have no idea what time it is.
Can I hear Caleb breathing?
Make a perception check.
9.
You can hear breathing, it's fine. I just wanted to make you roll for it.
Does he sound like he's asleep?
I did not go back to sleep.
He is not?
No, and I rolled a 27 deception check.
Okay. He's asleep. Let's make an insight check. Make an insight check, actually.
Gotta be a 27 on that. 10.
Yeah, he's asleep.
The falchion is not normally just out. Can I try and bamf it away?
Mm-hmm. You can focus on the falchion, gripping the handle, and close your eyes to will it away, but it remains.
Oh no.
Do I have any idea what time it is? How long I've been asleep? Is it brighter?
You have no. It's eternal nighttime here in Rosanna. Mm-hmm. You have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just sitting alone in your soaked bed sheets, clutching your sword, confused in the darkness.
I will get up and gather just, shoes and basic garments, and I will try to quietly exit the room.
Okay, make a stealth check. You grab your things and shuffle and stumble into a chair and grab your bag, and as you step, does he set off your alarm spell?
No.
Because he was considered an ally, so.
Prompted and I watch him go.
Okay, you watch as Fjord steps out of the chamber. And you think it's closed, and you push, it goes. You're like, shit.
Is there more light in the hallway?
There is. There are 3 low-burning oil lanterns that are affixed to the wall.
Can I walk over underneath one of the lanterns and look at the falchion? Does it look the same, different? Is the eye still there?
It looks the same. The eye's still there, yeah.
Is there anyone in the hallway?
Right now, no, not at this hour.
Can I conjure up a ball of eldritch energy in my hand and see what the eye does?
You look down at your palm. Nothing emerges. You concentrate and focus, and all you can see after a minute of trying is the sweat beginning to form in your palm and your forehead, dripping off your nose.
I hustle down out of the dim zen and into the street. Can I like find a corner, like an alley, or just a closed space where no one is?
Yeah, it takes you a moment because you're kind of in this half fugue state, not concentrating, more kind of stuck internally in your thought process. You push out into the cold rain without even feeling it on you. You push off to the nearest alleyway to the right, which is similar to where the moorbounders are brought. You find one little subsection there.
Puddles. Are there puddles?
There are puddles, yes.
Can I find a puddle and look in the ground, and I will use Mask of Many Faces to make myself look like Caduceus.
Okay, you look down in the water and all you see is your face.
Shit! He's just a guy!
No. Okay. It's all right. It's fine. I will take the sword back inside and walk back up to my room and try and quietly go back to sleep.
Okay. You hear Fjord step back in, breathing heavily. Crawl back into his bed and lay down. Go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw for me. Okay. Amongst the adrenaline pouring through your veins, the thoughts rushing through your mind, you force yourself to find a center of peace on the inside of your consciousness and do manage to find sleep once more after about 30 or so minutes of silently panicking in your bed. Eventually, you all begin to rouse from your slumber.
Great.
You approach the exterior of the Hammered Call, and as you kind of stop, you can hear on the inside the ting, ting, ting.
Well, after you, and I'll hold out my hand and I'll try and cast minor illusion. Just make a little bird in my hand.
Okay. Concentrate in your hand. Nothing. Little bird.
Oh, wait.
Oh. Well, that was nice.
Wasn't it? It really was. I'm glad we are here. Can I run up the stairs to the room real fast?
Yeah, totally.
And as soon as I get in there, can I try and summon the sword?
It appears in your
Can I make it go away?
Yep.
Oh, he's fucking with you.
Fucking with you.
Your sleep slowly fades. Your body cold with the biting wind that cuts through you. Not wind, a chilling current. You open your eyes and see nothing but shadow, and your arms move sluggishly against the familiar, icy waters that portend the prying will of your patron. Your heart rate begins to race and jump, knowing what this brings, and as that fear wells up into your throat, you hear the familiar voice call from the darkness. Return. A yellow glow pulses in your chest. The orb that remains embedded within your body shining through the skin like a dull lantern. You look up from your chest to see the gargantuan lid of the familiar spotlight-like yellow eye fill your entire periphery. You try and look to the right or left, but you are locked in on this singular slitted pupil, your body seemingly frozen in place. You're unable to turn away. The panic begins to build, and the voice says, "Release." This heavy, resonant tearing sound begins to fill the space around you. As tendrils begin to emerge from the pupil of the giant eye. Snaking vines pushing through it, pulling the eye apart from the center, an emerald light pouring through the gaping hole, warming the waters around you. A slew of emotions fill your mind, warm, amorphous, but comforting and evoking ideas that become words. Come with me, child. The hole within the eye glows with verdant light like an open doorway.
Do I recognize the voice?
You've never heard this voice.
I move towards it.
You take a moment to push past and try and swim forward, and the current is pushing against you. Go ahead and make a strength check for me.
That's right. Strength check.
Yeah. Or athletics, I'll say.
Way better. 17.
17. The current begins to build and try and force you away from it. The eye, you can see the veins at the corner of it tensing. It's trying to resist this shifting doorway. And you push forward, grabbing onto the vines, and thrust your whole body through this open wound. As you push through, the cold fades. The vines begin to tug at your arms and carry you the rest of the way through as it closes behind you. Without force or pain, warm, cradling sensations as you're removed from the nightmare of Uk'otoa, settled within a small chamber of tangled leaves and roots. Within this mass of vines and green, you swear you can see a face. Female, motherly, her eyes closed. The thoughts and emotions enter your mind once more. The words come to you interpretive. The womb I grant, but withers without faith. His will shall find you again soon. The eyes open, and light like an orange sunset pour over you, through you, lulling you slowly back to sleep. His will shall find you again. But until it does, rest. And the darkness takes you for the remainder of your sleep. Interesting thought that comes to you, Fjord. Usually when you cast your spells, there's like a shot of cold sensation that shoots through you with the casting, an element of like cold water, or a deep ocean type flash of temperature that just kind of courses through you, that you're just used to whenever you've utilized your magic. In the times that you saved Jester, in the moment you didn't think about it, and then now thinking back, that wasn't there. It was a little warmer. The magic was still there, but there wasn't. Each time you felt like there was like a small scale like siphoning of your body temperature, or some sort of a shift to that cold ocean.
Okay.
It's interesting. All right.
Hey, Caduceus.
Yeah.
So last night while we were sleeping, I had this dream like I do, and
really,
yeah.
Huh.
Except, unlike the previous times where I've seen an eye and I felt cold and there's been darkness, I felt warmth, and I heard like a matronly voice kind of beckoning to me, and I saw this greenery, like these vines kind of reach out and invite me forward. I can't help but think that might have something to do with the tree that we were near, or...
Oh, that was hers, and she spoke to me too.
Yeah, who is she again?
Well, you not know anything of the Wildmother and of the...
what you've said, pretty much.
What did she say to you exactly?
Well, she said that his will would find me again, and that she could only sort of intercede for a short bit. Maybe because we were so close to that giant fucking tree. But that felt really good.
That would be her, yeah.
What do you do to connect with her?
Well, she's everywhere, so I mean, honestly, the best things to do are to sit still and breathe slowly. And one of the things I like to do, although it's harder to do in a place like this, is just slowly count the number of sounds you hear and listen for each and everything and start to name what it is as it goes by. And slowly you'll see her and feel her in everything that is around, every plant that's growing, every animal that's hunting. It's all, while her power may wax and wane depending on where we are, it is something that's always, nearly always available.
You said she said she's everywhere.
We are, I believe, heading to a place of power of hers, inevitably. And I think this place will perhaps have great importance to you. This is good. This is very, very good. This is another good sign of what's to come.
It felt good. How did she find you? Or did you find her?
Well, I was born into it, so.
Your family?
Yeah, my family going back several generations. We're one of 3 families of priests who have served her through hundreds of years.
Any tips you could give to like a crash course to service? I'm really anxious to feel that again.
That's very good. I'm anxious to help you feel that again. I have faith in you, Mr. Fjord. I think that I would like to think that you have a shining, beautiful destiny ahead of you. And I know that there is great darkness in your heart, but you have good friends. These are good people. And I know that you're going to be tempted, and sometimes you're going to follow the things that you hear, but I would just recommend trusting in us to take care of you. It's all going to be okay.
Right. Everything's going to be okay.
You found a giant tree that silenced the evil voices in your head. I mean, how probable is that?
Any more of those around that you know of?
Actually, I'm looking for a mountain. It doesn't have any snow. In front of a great salt flat. If you find that, I think we're going to be doing okay.
Mountain with no snow.
So yeah, if we find that, I think that's a sign that things are going pretty well.
So I need to meditate and count the sounds that I hear and give them a name.
I find that tends to do it for me.
You can make a history check if you want for it.
Thank you. 10.
Doesn't ring a bell what he's talking about.
I will try that. I'll stay up a little longer and try that shit.
Do some guided meditation. It's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you guide him through it, breathing.
No, I close meditation, but yeah, just gonna do a round.
Okay.
Cool. My fucking knees don't bend that way, but all right, we'll do it.
Okay. It's interesting. The wind is picking up through the night, and through the slats, bits of red dust are starting to kind of plume through a bit. The storm didn't hit as hard up north here, and as things have dried and the wind's picked up, you get the sense that a dust storm is or has been coming. And the sound of it clattering through has been a little distracting, but as you focus with Caduceus, eventually the sound begins to fade, and you trying to find a center, a place. Instead, the sound of the wind blowing begins to come more of a waves coming on shore. It reminds you of growing up by the waters of the Menagerie Coast in Portamali. Reminds you of running along the sands of the beach. You find yourself sitting there and you can feel the warmth of the sunlight on you and looking into the endless expanse of blue waters out of the horizon in front. And for a moment, it's different. It's not as strong, but there is a familiar warmth to it. You know, he said, she's everywhere. Part of that could be the ocean. And you go to sleep very well that night. As you're all gathering forward, you're about to step in there, and you feel this like cold spike shoot through the back of your head for a moment, and a voice just kind of gently caresses the inside of your ear that says, and right as you finish that step, the momentum, your eyes wide, the brain kind of numb from the sudden moment where time seems to slow. As you experience this, you step down and entering the circle, and all of you are heading towards.
Hey, Jester?
Yeah.
You got that thing where you send messages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any more of those?
Yeah, I've got a bunch.
Can I ask like a favor?
Of course. You can ask anything for it.
If I conjured an image of what Vandren looks like, could you send him a message?
I can give it a try, yeah.
Okay. And I'll use minor illusion to just create like a little relief of what his face looks like.
Okay.
What do you want me to say to him?
Will you just ask him, tell him that I'm okay, and if, I don't know, I want to know how he's doing, but Caduceus checked in with the Wildmother and said that he was trying to atone for his past. I'm not sure what to say. I just feel like he doesn't care to be found, or I don't know what he wants.
Maybe he doesn't know you're alive either. Maybe he's been searching for you.
I guess that's right. Would you do me a solid and just do what you do?
Sure. Hello. You don't know me. I'm here with Fjord. He wants you to know he's okay and he's thinking about you. Where can he find you?
The moment passes before kind of a gravelly voice comes through and goes, "You said you know Fjord. Haven't heard that name in a while. Glad he's doing well. Let him know I'm okay. Retired on an island. Good folks. He'd like them."
I repeat everything I just heard.
Sounds like he's okay.
You retired to an island?
God, I've been so I feel like I need to find him, and I just don't know if it's that important to him. I don't know if it's important to me. We've done so much.
Yeah, but the way you talked about him, if you need to find him, then you need to find him.
I feel like I need to find find him because I feel like I owe him. But if he doesn't feel that way, it might just be in my head.
You know, messages are hard because you can't see the person's face. It did take him quite a while to respond.
Right.
For all he knows, I could be somebody bad and just trying to get a response out of him. He might not want to reveal too much.
Sure, he was smart like that. Thank you. It's been a long time. I just don't know if what I wanted before is the same thing I want now.
How are you doing? You seemed really quiet when we were in Nicodranas. You stood in the ocean and you didn't say anything.
I feel like we've all changed.
Yeah.
Me especially. He's such a brave man, and he did so much for me. I just wanted to emulate that.
I know.
Repay that. Pay it forward. I don't know. I feel like I've been so obsessed with this sword and how I got it and Katoa and the whole thing, and I just feel like there's more out there. It's always more. Like even Port Tamale and before that, my world just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the more time goes on, the more you realize there is, and the more that we affect, and the more we can be affected. And there's a part of me that wants to leave it all behind.
And just go somewhere quiet and disappear. And hope that it never bothers you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that.
I just don't think it'll let me. I feel like I'm trying to force something that's not going to happen on its own.
Do you feel scared when you think of Ukatoa?
I try not to think of Ukatoa.
I mean, that's where your magical powers came from, yeah?
Yeah.
You can't escape that.
They left for a little bit.
What?
There was a night I woke up and the sword was on the floor, and I couldn't do anything.
Well, when was that?
A while ago.
Fjord, why didn't you say anything?
I didn't know what to do.
But it came back.
In the middle of the day, we were setting that ambush, and Yasha was getting those bracers made, and they came back after a little bit, but I didn't know if I was going to run or what.
How did you feel when they were gone?
Terrified.
Did you want them back?
Yes.
Would you do anything to get them back?
No. But I feel like I knew what I was doing, and I realize I have no idea.
You're not the only one.
Yeah. Thank you. It might have been just the check-in I needed.
I wish I could be of more help, though.
No, you have been. I've known you the longest in this.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just hard figuring out who you should be instead of who you want to be.
Maybe. I mean, the Traveler gave me my powers. Maybe if you don't follow Ukatoa, you could follow the Traveler or someone else who could give you powers that are even better.
How do you feel about Caduceus's deity, the Wildmother? Yeah, Melora.
I mean, I saw her when I was bringing Caduceus back.
You did?
She popped in for a second. She seemed pretty nice, and she brought him back from the dead. I mean, that's always a good thing. That's really powerful stuff.
Yeah.
He talks to her a lot. Not as much as I talk to the Traveler, because the Traveler's always got my back and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as far as other gods go, she's a pretty good one.
Okay. I'm gonna see if she'll take an interest.
In the dark calm of your evening sleep, Fjord, you wake up on a beach. You can hear the waves crashing, but it's night. The moon high in the sky around, full, the singular beacon of white light above, the stars kind of twinkling above. It's peaceful. And while you're conscious of it, and it's familiar, and it's just a dream. And you watch as the stars begin to blink out. You look up and you can see them twinkling, different variations and brightness, one by one, plucked out of the sky by darkness. In that full moon, you watch as the dark orb of shadow begin to take it from one side to the next. The singular source of light left beginning to leave you in complete shadow. As you begin to panic and feel your heart beating into your throat, you dig your fingers into the sand, your toes in, and stand up just as the last bit of light plucks away. And what disturbs you is you're comfortable in the dark, but there is no placement of sight around you than but 5 feet of the beach, an ocean before you. You can watch the waves kind of and pull away out of sight. And you feel to the right of you a heavy, and you feel a spray of sand from one side onto the opposite side. Another spray. And you start to back up. And as you begin to back away, you feel the tendrils catch you from behind and wrap and curl around one shoulder and this around your torso and constrict, not to pain, but to the point of immobility. Where the moon was in the sky, the shadow pulls back, but instead of a white moon, a yellow one. And as it tears away, the singular familiar dark slit staring down upon you pulls you closer towards its light. And you sense below the eye, the sky begins to tear loudly. The streaking, thunderous noise as you see a mouth pull across the endless abyss and open, and the tendrils draw you towards it.
Return or consume.
As it pulls you into the dark expanse of the mouth, the jaws clamp around you, your body suddenly crushed with an instant universal pain of your physical form being snuffed into paste, and in that minute, wake up once more. You have no idea what time it is. The rest of your companions around you, asleep, yourself washed with sweat, breathing heavy.
Do I see the sword?
You don't see it at the moment.
Can I summon it?
Nothing.
Come on. I sit up. I start looking for it a bit more.
You glance over, and about 4 feet from you, it is resting right next to where Beauregard is currently curled up.
Unsheathed.
Unsheathed.
I will pick it up, and I will walk a little bit away from the group.
Okay, make a stealth check.
Natural 20.
Without issue, you gingerly grasp your weapon and sneak your way out of the chamber into the hallway.
I will look at the sword.
You can see the dull orange glow that emanates from the not too distant underforge, and the magma pool beneath it, kind of slightly lighting the outside of your face against the reflected blade.
Yeah. Yes. I will walk towards the pool of magma, as close as I can get.
Okay.
I will take the sword and hold it against my chest. And I will say, you need me more than I need you. Give it back. Does anything happen?
Make an intimidation check.
Ooh. Charisma.
Nothing seems to happen.
I push it into my chest.
How far in?
A few inches, maybe an inch.
Okay, so a few inches.
Yeah, let's go. Let's say an inch. See what happens.
The pain rocks through your body, and as you press in, your muscles tense around it. Your chest contracts, and you feel the white, hot, sharp pain up through your body and into the base of your skull. And you press it in. You can already feel the blood beginning to trickle from the wound.
I'll take one step towards the pool of magma, and I'll push it in a little further.
Make another intimidation check if you'd like.
Oh boy.
13.
13. No response. No reaction. The heat is burning on the edge of your skin. Not, painfully so, but you definitely can feel the proximity.
One more step. One more push.
You are now at the edge of it. You push it upon yourself. At this point, as you're pulling it there, how close are you standing to the edge? Are you just outside of the wall or up against it?
Outside of it.
All right, you're standing right there. It's plunged now. It's 3rd inch in, and that's fairly deep into your chest, and you can already feel the worry. Amongst as your willpower is there at the moment. In the back of your mind, you're like, I'm getting close to vitals. Make another intimidation check.
Oh my god.
22. No response.
I take the sword out.
Okay.
I hold it over the pool.
All right, you withdraw, and with that, there's a gout of your own viscera kind of splatters across the exterior of the wall, and begins to immediately sizzle and smoke.
Don't know how long I can hold this.
As the blood drips from the blade into the magma, the steam and smoke that arises from the burning of your own blood across the immediate, extremely hot surface kind of sends up tufts of smoke. And the stream gets more consistent as the smoke billows more and more and more and kind of begins to fill the space around you. The dark smoke beginning to swirl around your shoulders and around the weapon until suddenly the light begins to be choked around you. The warm, bright underglow of the light in fire begins to vanish as you find yourself surrounded in this cloud of smoke born from your own burning blood. In that moment, the pain still there throbbing in your chest numbs ever so slightly. And there in the smoke around the blade, your hand shaking, still stalwart and strong. But calmness comes across you. What do you do?
This is the Wildmother.
I'll pull the blade back and throw it into the...
It disappears through the smoke. You hear the smoke dissipates in the direction of where you threw it about a moment later. And there you can see it resting and slowly sinking into the molten rock.
I'll take a step back. Does it disappear under the...
If you wait a few moments, it probably will.
I'll put my hand over the wound. Is it still pouring?
It is still bleeding, but not as profusely as it was when you withdrew the blade.
I'll wander over to the group and wake up Caduceus.
Okay. Caduceus, you come to consciousness, being somewhat gently woken by Fjord, who's currently clutching what is very easy to see, an open wound in the chest and a very bloodied hand over it.
I need your help.
Don't even, I'm not even gonna, I'm gonna put a hand on and heal that right now. I'm not even gonna ask. Let's do that at let's do a cure wounds at you really effed yourself up, didn't you? Let's just do level 4 cure wounds to say we did. Let's just get this out of the way.
Okay.
17, 18, 19, 24 hit points back immediately. Just boom.
Thank you.
Do you wanna?
I need to sit down.
Why don't we? I'm gonna pick him up and I'm gonna take him out of the room with all the sleeping people. So, how did that happen?
I threw the sword into the liquid rock.
Your sword?
Yes.
Why?
I don't like being a hostage.
How do you feel?
I honestly don't know. That was all I had.
Well, I assure you that's not true. That's,
Thank you.
For what? I'm at a loss. I don't...
Just for being you and coming from where you have and sharing what you know. I'm inspired by you.
For what it's worth, those words alone make me feel like leaving my home and going on this journey was entirely worthwhile. I think I've said it before. I think there are great things ahead of you. I can't imagine you threw your sword and show me where.
In the pool. I could show you.
Please.
I'll take him over to where it was.
Okay, it's no longer there. At your perceptive glance, you do see kind of...
It would leave a...
You do see what looked to be maybe elements of melted metal.
I'm going to do a detect magic. Just to see if there's a glimmer of it.
Right. The direction of the weapon, no. The anvil that sits atop the Underforge is quite magical, as well as a number of the implements that dangle from the chains around it. But from the direction of where this weapon was thrown, no.
Magical weapon wouldn't melt.
I mean, it shouldn't.
So... I think you've made a good first step. I don't think you're free yet.
What do you mean? It's in the liquid rock. Nothing could... What do you mean?
Meaning, this creature, this thing that has a hold on you, this thing that's gotten into you. You describe it as I don't know, something deep sea, something like a squid-like eye.
Many eyes. One giant eye, but more like a serpent. It's always in darkness.
So you did a good... I can't imagine the battle you won tonight. Unlatching yourself from one tentacled grip of this thing, whatever this thing is that you're fighting.
Caduceus, I may be a liability now.
I entirely disagree. I think you're quite the asset. I think we're going to need you. I think if you were a liability, this thing wouldn't be fighting so hard to keep you. I think you're valuable. And I think that there are powers at play that know it.
Well, let's hope we have an extra sword in the bag somewhere. Yes.
I think we're going to have one soon. In the meantime, we'll give you something to make do with. And again, if this thing... Never met a creature with one tentacle.
Thank you. I'll go wander over and try to sleep.
Okay. As you wander past the Underforge and glancing in the direction of where the sword was thrown, you look up towards the anvil, and there on the front cusp of it you can see chiseled into the metal what looks to be a wreath of grain and branch and berry, and across the back of it what looks to be a tall crook placed behind it. Something about it just kind of just draws your attention.
You're not finished with this fight yet, Fjord. I think we're going to. I think you're going to find your way to the light, though. I'm glad you can see it. It means you're close to the exit.
We'll see where the exit leads.
Yeah. Let's get some sleep. We've got a journey to find you a sword tomorrow.
Sure.
Night, Fjord.
He had the perfect warlock. His falchion and supplies, but he decided to mess with Ukatoa and consume too many eyes. He can click open the website he heard about on Critical Role, but he won't find any stats at all, and he's even weaker than before. FJORD for the feeble orc. FJORD once a warlock, now a dork. He's got no magic, he's got no sword, and he lost that southern drawl. FJORD, FJORD, for the feeble orc.
I'm casting Commune.
Okay.
I'm going to let you speak to her.
To who?
To the Wildmother. You have 3 questions. The answers will be simple, just yes or no, simple positives or negatives. But if you want, and it can be, I know we have a lot here, and if you have any questions about what we're getting into, that's fine, but I wanted to give you the opportunity of maybe clarifying something that's inside of you.
Right. 3 questions. Simple yes or no answers.
Or complex yes or no's.
All right.
I have set up a small little fire and I'm breathing in the incense and starting my trance.
Okay.
I have felt your presence, Wildmother. Is there a reason that you intervened in my particular journey?
Can you carry this question on?
I do. Just whispering along.
Yeah. The warmth of her presence comes and encircles you, and the biting cold of the growing night fades around both of you. Though you do not have a direct connection, there is kind of a presence and a warmth that unexpectedly encircles your space beyond just the small fire you've set. The answer comes through unclear.
I think it's the wrong question. I don't think that has that kind of answer.
Wrong question. I miss having the ability to affect greater change by having more at my fingertips. If I were to change the way that I live, change what I focus on or do, would you be able to help me regain some sort of standing in a way that's similar to what I knew before?
The warmth becomes a jovial understanding, and the wind picks up slightly around you, but it's a warm wind. And you swear for a second you see a green leaf or two kind of scatter by before vanishing into the shadow of night. The answer appears to be definitive yes.
I think so. Something akin.
Oh God, now I have so many more questions. Why did I ask a stupid one first? I don't know about any of this. It's all a bit overwhelming. Cities and nature and deities and overlapping. Would you please do something or show me something or intervene or take agency in my life and show me how best to move towards achieving that sort of change?
The warmth has almost like a gentle breeze passing through the boughs of a tree, like a forest sighing.
Mm-hmm.
And it very much has kind of a playful sigh to it. The answer comes through unclear, but asking. You understand the answer as you are a man of faith to know that the answer is to require faith.
I mean, Fjord, I could answer that one. What do you think this is? All of us, me here, you here, these people. This is intervention.
Right.
Eventually, one day, somebody will pray for a miracle. Pray for something to save them to whatever gods are nearby. And that prayer will be answered because you'll show up. That's how it works. That's what a champion is.
How often do you talk to her?
I mean, never stop.
I don't have your stuff.
Even for my family, I'm a little
little eccentric.
That's a good word. Yeah.
Without all of that, is it still possible to talk to her?
She's always listening.
She is.
Yeah. The answers that you get may not be the ones you want, and the answers may come in ways that you don't necessarily understand or are almost too obvious to see. And the answers may be that you need to find where your power is. Where is the place that you are strongest? And nature is very big. And you are a mystery in many ways. And I think inevitably something's going to come out and show itself within you, and that'll be the moment you know that what element of righteousness you were supposed to champion and represent. What is the thing that inspires you?
I love the oceans. I always have.
What do you like about the oceans?
You can get lost out there, and it's easy to fall away from everything else. It's calming, it's meditative, it's humbling. You are at the mercy of the elements. Perhaps the greatest one on this plane.
What do you dream about when your dreams are your own?
It's been so long. I don't know what I dream about, but I used to remember going down to the shore and just enjoying the sound of the ocean. It would wipe out everything else. It's calming there. It's also powerful. Seeing things wash up on the shore, be pulverized, made into smaller pieces. It's relentless. That reminds me, I should have asked if Ukatoa is finished with me or not.
Ukatoa.
Oh, I can answer that. No.
What do you mean, no?
Why would it be finished?
I don't have the key or the sword or any gifts.
I think that might not be a story that's over yet. That may be something you are battling for the rest of your life. But we're going to arm you, and you're going to be fine. But no, this isn't gone. It's just sleeping.
Great. Just silently try to talk to the Wildmother if she's listening.
Okay. You close your eyes and you think. Thoughts, wishes, questions. It's cold. You shiver a bit. Yawn. And you focus. And you get this strange sensation like your body is floating. Like a sensory deprivation tank. Your sense of physical self begins to just tingle and fade. Eyes still closed. You feel these feelings envelop you like a warm bath. Your body floating atop a heated ocean of gentle waves. Peace finds your mind with the familiar smells of salt and brine, the sound of seagulls in the air around you, broken surf crashing on a shore somewhere. You open your eyes, and as opposed to the mountainside, you're looking up at a clear blue sky, not a cloud around. And you try and focus, just blue, impossibly wide blue. And you see something. Is it a cloud or it's a face? The faint tracings of a face, eyes, a nose, a mouth, but on a scale that consumes the entire blue sky above you. It's almost unsettling, but it's soft, maternal. It's like a trick of the eye, but there it is. Yet you swear you see it smile. These feelings wash into your mind, your heart, emotions and images conveying ideas and communication wordlessly, as if to say, you have been lost, caught in a dark current, an undertow. These depths seed you with an alien wound, too deep to heal, and leave your mind a torrent. Fear, love, a pursuit for self-worth. You found my gaze through chance, through deed, through company. These waters are your home, and always have been. These waters are me, and I am them. I am the lands that rise from them. I am the trees that bind them. I am the beasts that keep them. This seed of darkness, you look down and you can feel this black rock, this coal that is chilled within your chest. This seed I cannot heal, but I can help you carry the burden. I can free you from the fiend that feeds. If you would but protect all that is me. Will you walk my lands, swim my shores, and guide my children as one of my own.
Yes. Yes, I would.
The smile widens. Then embrace me. My boon is yours, and it is our nature to adapt. Come, and you feel tendrils of kelp and seaweed begin to rise from the warm water beneath you and wrap around you and tie and bind, and your heart rate begins to jump. They're still warm, but it's beginning to cut the light off as your face begins to be blanketed, and you feel yourself being pulled beneath the waters. Do you struggle?
No.
As you all kind of stumble out in your various states. No Fjord.
Where's Fjord?
He's probably just sleeping in.
Yeah.
I'll look
Go
around.
look for him.
Check on him.
Take a little while, and there's no sign of him in the inside of the sanctum.
I'm gonna go check I'm gonna go check outside.
You go outside. First snowfall through the night. You see like kind of the snow, soft powder, and there's like a bit of a dome where you guys had your previous conversation.
Brush it off.
You brush off the snow, and there's like, it's like a hard textured dark coloration. It's frozen seaweed.
Frozen seaweed.
What the shit?
Interesting.
What is that? Caduceus?
This is unusual.
Can I go up and look at it?
Yeah. It's like someone had layered seaweed after seaweed after seaweed, and it's tangled and messed like a net, and it is frozen
This
solid.
doing out here?
I'm gonna take one of the purple crystals.
Okay.
And try and push it into the frozen seaweed.
It pushes into like ice.
It's not cutting through?
No.
Should we... What is it? What's in here? Is Fjord in here?
I mean...
Is it vaguely Fjord shaped? Is it like a Pompeii?
No, it's like a dome about 6.5, 7 feet wide, and it's like a kind of like a weird button shape.
Is Wilford Brimley in there?
Probably.
Hello? Are you in here? Can you hear us?
Start pulling it aside. Maybe if we bring the sword.
Break a piece off.
You begin to pull and tear, and parts do break off. And the more you break off, the softer it gets the further in, until eventually it's like a soft liquid, or not liquid layer, but like an actual kelp type texture. Eventually, you pull through and you find flesh.
Living
half orc, living flesh.
Is it naked?
No, it is not.
Is he breathing?
You pull.
it feel
You
warm?
pull apart. It is warm.
Let's get him out of here.
Fjord?
Pull him out, Chester.
We should take his clothes off.
Why should we take his clothes off, man?
They're covered in kelp.
I mean, we should probably just take his clothes off.
I think we should.
All right. You take off Fjord's clothes. No. But you pull the rest of the seaweed off of his body, and he's breathing. And you slowly start coming to consciousness. You're weirdly sore. But sturdier. It's hard to describe. You see Fjord kind of come awake and kind of sit up out of the mass of tendrils.
Are you cold? Do you want to get inside?
Are you okay?
Yes.
What are you doing in the...
Why are you out here?
What happened? Do you like bread?
In general?
Never mind.
Your accent's back.
No, it's a force of habit. I'm sorry.
Oh. Freaked me out for a second.
What's the last thing you remember?
I Well, I came outside to meditate in the way that Caduceus showed me.
Does he look different?
He looks a little stockier.
How about his teeth?
Did he Spider-Man this shit?
Oh my god, did you Captain America?
Oh my god!
What superhero did he do?
What happened? What did you do?
Did you Wolverine this?
He's like not an overt, but like he looks a little. Where once there was a scrawny Fjord is a slightly less scrawny.
Are you like do you gain muscle that quickly from our like 2 workouts?
Kelp diet.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sore, actually, all over.
Well,
I punch him in the arm.
It hurts.
Hurts me or him?
Him.
Oh, sorry.
Fuck.
I don't know. Did I notice anything?
See how much that hurts?
There's a little more resistance than you're used to.
Acid. God.
Can't you read his shit?
I can't read his shit. Well, I have to Flaria blows him.
we have a gift for you inside.
Come inside.
Maybe.
Have a nice cup of tea.
Yeah, sure. God, it's fucking cold out here.
Yes, we've been
were
telling you
buried
to
under the
come
snow.
inside, Fjord. Come inside.
I've been out here all night.
Did you do this to yourself?
Kind of look around and take stock.
You see like the nest-like circular layer of seaweed around you.
Are you asking me if I built a nest of...
Yes.
No?
Well, it seems to be the obvious answer.
I had a I did have a dream that I was back out amongst the ocean and that there was seaweed.
Is he back?
I don't know. There was a voice. It was a new voice. Similar to the one that I heard. They said I would never be rid of the darkness that had been left inside. But this new voice sounded warm, inviting. She sounded like she wanted to help. If I would help in her name. And I said yes, but that was... Right.
Do something.
Do what?
I don't know. Just to think about something and do something.
Make your falchion appear. Or
Make
something.
I don't have my...
Make like water
I'll
shoot
try
from
to
your hands.
summon the falchion.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Make water shoot from your hands.
Okay.
What are you trying to do?
Make water shoot from his hands.
Yeah.
Water does not shoot from your hands.
Sorry. Yeah.
No demon monkey, no...
Try to disguise your face like you used to.
Yeah.
Like what?
Try.
Make yourself look like not.
I'm a big nut!
You watch as his entire body shimmers into a larger, thicker version of Not the Book.
Big nut!
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
The power's back.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do it. There's so much we gotta go. Okay.
Wait. Eldritch Blast?
No.
Try it.
I don't think so.
I look out over the cliffside, and I will look at Not and say, Eldritch Blast.
Energy gathers within his palm, but as opposed to the dull, sickly green coloration, this has a deeper verdant tint to it as it fires out 2 blasts.
Wow. Well, that's interesting.
Stella got her groove back.
I'm really proud of you, Fjord.
Fucking seaweed wraps are the shit.
You see Umacorn stumbles out into the snow. It's like, I thought everyone would be more excited. I spent all night working on this, and you're fucking right out on me.
Should we head inside?
The sword's finished.
Yeah, Umacorn's like, it is. He kind of holds it up, and you can see the blade is beautiful.
Well,
Fjord, do you want to hold it?
But, Caduceus, it's your sword.
no, it's definitely not.
Who else here is
You
going to
need
use the
any
sword?
It was waiting for you.
It almost looks like water.
Would you mind?
This is what we're here for.
There are no accidents, correct, Caduceus?
Never. Just delightful mistakes. I'm gonna hand you the sword. Embracing destiny.
Oh,
That's
look
a
at
big
that. That's really big.
Forward as you sit and center yourself, connecting and extending your blade pact with your new weapon. It's strange. Whenever you've connected with a pact weapon, whenever you've bonded with your blades previously, it's always been like a relay. Like you were borrowing a tether from something dark and cold, but from below, representing Ukatoa's gift, and then using it to tether the weapon to you. The tether comes from within. It's still the same kind of dark tether that you recall in your mind's eye as you concentrate, but the source is just yourself. And it's weirdly comforting to not sense it being something so directly borrowed. As soon as you finish your period of concentration, you feel the blade connect. You can feel the cold of the ice flecks kind of curl across your fingers, and your skin numbs momentarily as you feel this blade become one with you, and whatever this dark seed that you still hold within you is. And as you open your eyes and look at it in your hands, you kind of turn it over, and you guys watch as the blade seems to crumple to snow and then vanish from his hand.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's pretty incredible.
Can you get back?
It's one-time usage. That was it.
Seems like such a waste.
I know.
You have to go
I'll be
to the
going now.
dragon
Thank
again.
you. I'll go. Yes, I will try and resummon the broadsword.
You see a flash of blue light, and the blade itself just emerges out of where his open palm was. He grasps the edge, and a familiar splash of water shoots forth, similar to where he had previously summoned his weapon. Except where it lands, it's freezing cold, and a bit of frost is left behind.
That was really cool, Fjord.
You see the tree now nearby. It takes the blade and kind of like...
I'll reach my hand out and I'll summon the Star Razor sword, and I'll reach up and point, and my eyes will roll back, and I'll say, Balgura, and I'll summon a greater demon.
Okay. As your eyes roll back and the energy flows into your eyes, as you close your eyes, concentrating on the vengeance that you had kind of subtly promised to these two that you found dead and slaughtered in the center of the Lotus Den, you expend the vial of blood that you took from their corpses, and in doing so, this darkened circle appears, whereas previously kind of red energy summoned these demons forward. This has a dull, kind of vibrant green, verdant color to it. And as the circle swirls, as opposed to these like jagged arcane ruins, they're almost like curved elvish. And as the Balgura emerges, its skin is actually kind of green and black, and where you saw once were these jagged elements here, it seems to have almost a fey quality to its appearance. It is not the demon that you had seen previously summoned by Fjord. And you you look down and you can see the darkness below, and you're like, okay.
Do you have bonuses in water, by the way? Can I cast quickly control water and reverse the flow of water shooting me up out of the pool if I'm getting close enough to that?
I'll allow it, yeah. It is an ability of yours. Okay. And you do maintain it through the connection to the Wildmother. You didn't lose it because of the pact you made with her. Okay. So, there are elements of like the teeth everywhere that remind you of that a little bit.
This place is terrible, but horribly exciting. Is everyone all right? Is anyone hurt still?
I mean, I could use a second.
Jester, are you hurt?
No, but I feel bad for Caduceus.
I'm a little rough. Anybody else a little rough?
I place a hand on Caduceus and I give him 1 hit point. Lay on hands. First time, bitches.
There you go.
You always remember.
You give me 1 hit point.
Use that for EMT action.
Oh, he's all good now. I guess we are fine.
I think I feel a little better. That was nice, but like,
Thank you.
I'm still kind of...
Jester, do you need healing?
Can you do it anymore?
Yeah.
Sure. Heal me.
Well, I mean, are you hurt?
Yeah, I mean, I'm down a
Well,
little bit.
wait,
I've
you
got this
have
cut on my
how
arm.
many times can you do that? Well, I mean, that's a good way. If I would keep that, just because if someone passes out or something, you can just pop them back up in an emergency.
That's a
It's
very
kind of
good point,
a good.
yeah. All right.
Once we're both inevitably unconscious in front of you.
Happen. No. And with my just on this side of the mic right here.
Okay, gotcha.
With my last spell, activating the sword, can I grip it, make the blade pulse, and I will reach in and say, Wildmother, shine your light, and I will cast Fairy Fire on Oban.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Oban. And he cannot be invisible anymore. Dexterity 15 saving throw.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's always worth a shot, though.
Yes, that's a great.
Maybe 1. Natural 1.
And it was a natural 1.
Shut up.
But he has resistance. He has magic resistance. He gets advantage on the saving throws against spells. Natural fucking 3.
Oh, yeah, he's not invisible anymore. I will spend the mornings and the evenings trying to meditate more on the Wildmother.
Okay.
Trying to practice sort of putting myself out there, feeling what she needs or wants to show me, or just sort of making myself open to whatever that might be, and proudly displaying in a place of prominence the little pin that Caduceus gave me.
Whereabouts are you meditating?
I suppose just a room. Okay. Could just be a room that no one else is in, just trying to find a quiet space.
Okay, good.
Outdoors. I would find a garden also.
Okay.
Indoors. Back indoors. It's not small.
All right. As you quickly turn around,
Pluck a single flower and
you head back to your personal chambers. Make sure the balcony is available so some of the colder breeze can come in. It's still overcast. It isn't a bright day. The rain's been off and on since you've been here in Rexentrum. But there is a cleansing chill that comes with the wind that is still welcoming and makes you feel more at ease and connected to the nature beyond this massive city's walls. And focusing and closing your eyes and remembering what it felt like in those few moments that you were communing with the Wildmother, in those visions you had when she tore you from the caustic grasp of Ukutoa and had taken your sins as her own. And it takes some time, but eventually the chill begins to pass, and a familiar warm breeze from those moments comes into your mind and you feel at peace. Time begins to crawl. Focus comes to your mind and you can hear the waves crashing against the shore from when you grew up. And you find that peaceful place you haven't found in a while. And just stay there.
That's very cool.
The family of stone. You shall take the limbs of this hero and walk the plains until you find an oasis at the mouth of a red and gold veined cave. There upon my altar you shall feed these limbs to the beasts that walk there, so that they may hold my mark. And to this site you shall build a menagerie whose beast shall be my gift to the Changebringer, to remind her that nature is infinite.
Did you get all that?
No, I got that. The family of stone?
Family of stone. Dust, clay, and stone. 3 families.
What, do you know something? What?
Yeah, I mean, yes, no.
What?
I find it ironic.
What?
When you're at an orphanage, I give you a shit last name. Mine was stone. I never used it because it's not my name. It was just given to me.
Insight check. Make an insight check.
That's the truth.
Wow. They gave you the name Stone.
Yes, but orphans can have any kind of bland, ordinary last name.
But you got Stone.
Yes, it's very strange. I think it's only
family of the Wildmother.
That you now follow.
What a tough name.
That's
Fjord Stone. Wow.
I'm not a believer in coincidences. Even when they happen.
Wouldn't be the first one in this group.
No. Family of Stone, though. It's one of the three families.
Wow.
I've never met any of them.
You have?
Either way, I'm very interested to go.
I'm somehow even more interested than I was a minute ago. Maybe there'll be something else for you here. You certainly found something at the last.
Oh, wow.
This is exciting.
Wow.
I always wondered who my parents were and what my real name might be. I never cared for that name, so
well,
I just find it.
As I will say, as part of what I do and part of what we do at the garden, names have a funny way of sneaking up on you. And we definitely, the people that we put into our garden, their names have quite the effect. So, yeah. Look at that, all the way back around.
A night of restless sleep comes to you. Whether it be the sound of the heavy rain hitting the glass doors on the outside of your captain's quarters, just the anxiety of the coming interaction, but you toss and turn quite a bit. But when sleep does take you, you have visions of being in a forest once more, not unlike the one that you had traversed to help Caduceus find his family. You're alone, and you don't know where to go. You travel a bit, and it just continues. Almost the same, like it's a repeating glade. You push past trees. The rain now falls through the top of the forest, and you hear the distant rumbles of thunder carrying into this space. What do you do?
I will summon the sword. Can I sink it into the earth and try and listen for the voice of the Wildmother?
You summon the sword to your hand, and what stares back at you is not the ruined blade that you found on this journey, but the familiar curved falchion with a singular yellow eye looking back, and you feel a burning pain in your chest. It burns even brighter and hotter. And suddenly it's a pain that is unbearable. As you come to consciousness, trying to scream, but you're winded. As a dark figure stands over your bed, a blade plunged in your chest.
Ooh.
You suffer 12 points of slashing damage, as well as 4 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
It's a priest of Ukatoa or something. Ukatoa.
As you lie there, the blade, a familiar-looking, barnacle-encrusted falchion, partially thrust into your abdomen. The creature holding it appears humanoid before you.
No.
But you see heavy tattered robes and slivers of cloth. You see grayish blue skin. You see a humanoid face with long, thick tendrils of hair, yellow eyes, and the jaw itself seemingly split partially open and just kind of breathing like an exaggerated predator. Let's go ahead and roll initiative. So it's going to turn to the others and go,
No.
and you start speaking in a language that I don't think any of you understand.
Is it magical?
No.
No.
Not this statement.
Is it deep
And then it reaches down. No, it is not. Grabs Ford by like the chest.
Don't you fucking.
And is going to attempt to dimension door.
Counter spell.
Yes.
4th level.
And does not go anywhere. Well, no, because it is a 5th level spell because it's a warlock, so you do still have to roll.
Okay.
He does not move. He goes ahead and you watch as this purple energy begins to rise. This kind of like dark ocean begins to swell up around the two of them. And as it releases the incantation to slam the ground, Caleb, flying up, sends his hands down in this wave of this like net, the spiraling net of arcane runes kind of grapples around and shatters the growing doorway. Suddenly it like looks up angrily at you. You all independently walk up to see there, in scattered pools of blood, unmoving, the dead bodies of Ford and Orly. The storm still flashing overhead, the thunder still roaring. In the middle of this moonless night, none of the other Armada ships, as far as you know, are aware of what transpired here. It sinks in. What had happened, possibly why, and what needs to hopefully be done to rectify it. And so as you focus and pushing the diamond down towards where the most gaping wound is, you watch as it kind of slowly turns to dust within the wound and itself become almost a congealed, like grainy material into the exposed blood. There's a moment of pause before the divine energy you channel through the Wildmother creates a mess of vines that begin to grow from the wound and wrap around his torso. As the vines begin to condense and create a small nest or cocoon above where the wound is, you watch as they turn bright green, then turn brown and die and wither. The leaves of the vines immediately crumbling and decaying to dust. And as they do, leaving the wound itself partially healed. And you pause for a moment, and you hear the breath begin to come back into the lungs.
Cure wounds level 3. Let's give this a roll.
Caduceus is gonna do it.
You've done a lot tonight.
I would recommend holding his hand. This may hurt.
Or his abs.
Or his abs.
Hold my hand forward.
Just a second. What are we doing?
We're just gonna try something.
As you concentrate, Caduceus, and reach out towards Ford's chest, you find your vision darken. And your instinct immediately is that fight or flight, that fear impulse kick in. But you find yourself surrounded in warmth, like you were dropped into a warm bath. Caduceus, as you concentrate, the same lichen that grows upon your armor begins to grow from your fingertips and find its way gathering at the center of Ford's chest. This kind of bright pink plume of fungus begins to just grow and generate around the sternum. And you, in this moment with your eyes closed, that warmth, you feel this twinge of pain right there that begins to grow and grow and burn and sear. And you feel his hand squeeze tightly. Nausea begins to kick in, wave after wave, as this horrible pain begins to just burn from the inside. It is awful. It begins to come in such heavy waves that you find yourself falling to your knees, and that nausea is burning heavily within the depths of your chest and belly. Caduceus, as you hold tightly, you watch as Caduceus falls to his knees and begins to just shudder. All of you begin to grow nervous with what is happening, especially with how now, barely recovering from the edge of death, he seems to be convulsing in the way that he is.
You're hurting him.
I'm gonna link my arm in his arm just to keep him there and to keep him upright and safe.
Okay. The pain begins to entirely consume your perspective. The warmth isn't there. The darkness is barely something you could concentrate on. It is just the pain, and it feels like a burning, white-hot poker right in the center of your chest, moving up towards your sternum, up to your clavicle, and as the nausea kicks in, you find yourself retching. You watch as Fjord suddenly doubles over and vomits what seems to be gallons of frothy seawater onto the deck of the ship. This horrible, guttural, all muscles tensing vomit. And as the seawater splashes onto it with a heavy, you see a singular cloven crystal.
Don't touch it. Somebody pick it up with an object and let's put it in the bag as quickly as possible.
Your vision returns.
Take it off my sash and scoop it up and tie it off.
Let's put it.
I hold back his little teeny man bun.
Holy shit!
Put it in the bag as soon as possible.
Oh, it's coming out of your nose.
I put it in this, it will be gone.
Perfect.
Gone.
What does that mean, gone?
How gone?
It's the Emperor's.
Well, no one can see me.
Perfect. Let's
Use
do it.
my long
Right now.
sleeve to wipe up Fjord's face and mouth.
Caleb starts placing out the pieces of amber and around it on the deck. And as a ritual casts the Vault of Amber. And it just goes...
The bold face that you've grown to carry gives way when consciousness does. As being captain of the ship requires a certain amount of strength and face. But in those solitary moments of sleep, the memory of what it felt to give way to darkness, the finality of it, the experience and memory of the life leaving you is cold and scary. Especially knowing that that thing was still inside you. And in that quiet, cold, isolating memory as you close your eyes and give in to sleep. And there is that bloom of green. That warm blossom that helps wash away the anxiety. And while you don't see the face, you can feel her there with you, comforting. What was once a recurring nightmare of dark, lightless, abyssal depths. It's nice to have a warm, motherly embrace to greet you on the other side. And even in that cold moment of loss, there's a part of you that believes she would have caught you. And that's comforting.